Hey. Crash, you turn that frown upside down. We'll be live in just a moment. Welcome to another edition of Banter and Babble. I'm the Dude79, and joining me always, my esteemed colleague, Mr. Fanboytone. Mr. Fanboytone.
Yes.
We're back, dude.
Are we?
Another week off, and we're back.
We're back again.
It's all because of this guy. He wants to go 2 weeks, guys. He wants to go bi-weekly, but I'm fighting him. I'm fighting him like we're staying weekly. Nice robot voice. Don't fuck with me, Cuddles. I have gone 3 straight streams without any issues. No robot voice, no deep voice, just nice, cooperating audio equipment.
Knocking on wood.
You know this thing's going to fuck up something awful tonight. Going to fuck up something awful. But, Tony, yeah, man, we're back. We got some booze.
Yeah.
We went to Tried and True Maple Grill out between Hemlock and Shields on M46, the Maple Grill restaurant. And we saw last week that they were like, hey, we just kegged our first batch of rhubarb ale.
Which we got photos of.
When
we were out there.
No, not Fanta. It's not. It looks like Fanta. It's not.
Want a Fanta?
It is rhubarb ale in tone.
It's delicious. Now, I was thinking maybe with the rhubarb, it'd be like a strawberry rhubarb. There's a very light tart, but it's very sweet.
Yeah, it's not
for this
overwhelming.
ale.
It's sweet, but it's not overwhelmingly tart.
Flavor, it's really
good.
Delicious. Like
it's really playful.
God damn.
And thankfully, it's only 4%, so we can polish through this and not be shit-faced. Like, was it our last show? Was our last show where we got wasted?
Yeah, because we had Josh on, right?
Yeah.
Was that the last show?
Yeah, it was.
Josh on?
I think it was, and we got really drunk.
That fucker. Those monster seltzers, man.
Dude, everything we had was really strong.
Yeah, we got to do a Friday, Saturday something where we can do like a mix of like a half-ass beer review episode where we're reviewing beer, but also doing this where we just get shit-faced.
Yeah, and then I got totally trashed with Cuddles like 2 Fridays ago.
Yeah.
That was a shit show. I streamed for 4 hours and like 48 minutes. It was almost a 5-hour stream.
That's nuts.
And him and I were just, because I think it was like a day before his birthday. I believe that was the same weekend.
It was, yeah.
And we were doing, I was drinking, I think I was drinking Vizzies. No, I had the shorts, Soft Parade.
Ooh.
But it was the strong variant. There's 2 versions of the shorts.
There's the higher ABV.
There's one that's like 4, and then there's one that's like 8.5, and we had the 8.5 one. So I'm sitting there I went through like 6 of those. And then Cuddles and I are playing Call of Duty, and we're like, it's his birthday. He's like, let's do shots. So we go get the peanut butter whiskey, and like I had like 5 shots during the stream. I'm drinking all this beer. Dude, I was on my ass the rest of the weekend. Saturday, fucking useless. I mean, more than usual. And like Sunday, just starting to come around. I was just like, oh my God, dude, what the fuck?
That's an interesting thing because Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you're also fucking useless.
You know what? That's a great point. Friday just kind of like bridged everything together.
Right. And so last Saturday night, I was in a Discord chat. I think it was Saturday night. I don't remember. Honestly, I don't remember.
It was. I was watching Harry Potter with the family, and you guys were having fun.
Like Drass was in there for a while. We had Zesty in there. Zesty, I don't know. I don't recall exactly what was said. All I know is that Cuddles had to go to the bathroom, and I said something fucking ridiculous.
Probably perverted.
No, something ridiculous. And we were giggling. Cuddles got back, and he was like, "What the fuck?" And we're like, we don't fucking know. Like, I don't know. I was just fucking lit. And then Sunday, like, I'm like, tomorrow's gonna suck. Like, I'm gonna be fucking useless.
Yeah.
I was hardly useless somehow. Went to Brinstar, met with Paul, and drank a beer. Like, didn't eat anything until like 1 o'clock, and I was already 2 o'clock, 2:30. Was already drinking a beer.
Jeez,
useless.
I couldn't touch anything after that night with Cuddles. I couldn't even like think about like we were watching Harry Potter. Or no, that was the following weekend. We had something going on that Saturday, and she's like, "Do you want a beer?" I was like, "No, I don't want anything."
Yeah,
keep that shit away from me. I don't feel it right now.
We are at that age now where I mean this wholeheartedly, and you don't do this. I don't think you do this. You need to take 2 or 3 aspirin, drink a small glass of water.
I know.
And I'm telling you, it will help at least with the headache part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the big thing because the headaches get so fucking bad. And it's probably because of the dehydration. that like it makes the next day rough, and you're going to combat the tired or all the other bullshit, but you need to start doing the aspirin at this age. Wise man once said, wise woman actually, it was my mom who said this, because she liked to fucking party too.
Oh yeah,
she's like, yeah, they used to do like back in the day when they were growing up, they would do like Alka-Seltzer before they went to bed and shit like that, certain Alka-Seltzers or whatever. She's like, you need to take aspirin and water. She's like, you're too old for that shit. I'm like, all right, Ma, all right, God, wise lady.
It's funny you mention that, because I have done that before. And I know, what the weirdest thing about it was, is I remember I drank a shit ton of water, and I took like 3 aspirins at like 3 a.m. And when I woke up, I didn't have the headache, and I felt hydrated. But man, it's almost like when I remove, because normally the headache is what keeps me in bed.
Right.
I don't want to do anything.
Yeah.
With the headache gone though, I was walking around and I could feel the lightheadedness, like that like it was like. It was more pronounced, because all the upset stomach, the headache, all that stuff was gone. And all it was like, I'm awake, but I feel like I'm fucking dizzy. Mm-hmm. So it was like, when you remove all those other elements, you focus on the one, and I was just like, man, I am really dizzy. I just remember it was a weird feeling, because like, I was like, normally I have a headache that is accompanying this. Yeah. I have the sore body, I'm puking, all this stuff, and none of it was there. I'm dehydrated and whatnot. None of that was there, but that lightheadedness of a hangover, where I was just like, that's all I can feel, and I don't like that. It was really weird. But no, I do it at my age, because I'm old. You're right. I should do that more, and I should have done that with Cuddles.
Just do that.
Before my dad left to get smokes, he taught me to take a shot and then take a sip of water. Hey, that's great advice before he went and got smokes and some milk. What kind of cigarettes did he get?
Probably Virginia Slims.
What's wrong with Slims, man?
Or, I don't know, Kurt Cobain used to smoke them. Why not?
See, look what happened to him. Hot sauce burns it all the way. Hot sauce is, with the hangover, I usually do get like something like hash browns, but hot sauce, just get a bunch of shit that's going to go in there and just nuke it. What brand is it?
Camel Wide.
Oh, yeah.
I'm... As far as like an after, like I've been drinking, I need a snack thing. I like, clearly there's a lot of things that I think everybody like typically like links to Taco Bell.
Everyone's got to go to, yeah.
Yeah, I always feel like the for some reason like that, like Taco Bell is a good after. I'm very simple. I don't always have like the greatest ingredients. I'm usually fine with just like literally tortilla chips, handfuls of extra cheddar, shredded cheese, and then like salsa or sour cream, or just even if I got some like sriracha. I don't know what it is about chips and cheese after I've been drinking that is like the perfect, like I feel.
Are you talking about before you go to sleep or after you get up the next day?
Before I go to sleep. Like so after you've been drinking, you got to match something, you need a snack, you put some in you. For some reason, I can't figure it out, but I'm always just like, I need some fucking tortilla chips, and some cheese or something. Like, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the salt. I don't know.
Possibly, yeah. I'm usually, man, when it comes to at before bed, like I'll just eat whatever the fuck is close.
That's fair.
I'll just eat this and that. But like the morning after, I gotta have like I for whatever reason, man, McDonald's biscuits. Like when I eat that and it gets it down there and it soaks everything up, man. Yeah. Eating one of their biscuits, like even though I love the bagel, the steak and egg bagel is my go-to. Yeah. When I'm hungover, that biscuit that gets down there and just soaks everything up, it kind of just makes me feel better. Plus, it fills you up fast. Next thing you know, you got to crap everything out of your system.
Right.
So, but coitus is the best thing for a hangover. He's not wrong. That's another thing. Unless I throw up on my wife, and then it's bad. But
yeah, if she's into it. But I do feel that the best hangover trick, this is years ago I learned, is actually McDonald's thing as well too. A large Coke.
Oh yeah.
2 double cheeseburgers.
The large Coke, I would say, is a must.
Yeah,
you get in there and you start burping, man. It just feels instant.
I'm not always up for breakfast. I'm not usually. Sometimes I'm passed out still.
I will get a sausage biscuit. I'll get basic sausage biscuit, a couple of those, and a large
If
Coke.
they served them all day, maybe.
No. Their sausage biscuit is fucking good, man.
So I've been using the McDonald's app for a while now, and I got to say, first of all, it's a very broke reward system because you're always getting something free. You're paying. It's honestly like you just pop something in, you go up there, you're always getting something free. Like their reward system is
what was it
pretty
today?
awesome.
McChicken, the crispy McChicken, I think was a free sandwich today.
But I've learned, as somebody who also used to work for McDonald's a long time ago, that their water systems and everything are really cold and cool. I am one of those people, maybe it's the old guy now on me. I'm really annoyed at the fact about the level of ice you get in these fucking drinks and how little drink you get.
Yep.
So I stopped getting ice at all these places, and I'll tell you what, by the time you're done with it, it's still cold. So save your time and effort and save some money.
I gotta go light
Tell
ice.
them light ice. No, I say light ice, no ice, whatever. I don't do any ice. I'm perfectly fine on that. But especially like when you go somewhere like McDonald's Coke, which is like, as somebody who leans a little bit more towards Pepsi, I love McDonald's Coke. It's amazing Coke. Or if I want a Baja Blast, get a large Baja Blast. I can drink it in 3 sips, like if there's ice in it. So don't get the fucking ice.
I can't fuck. You know what, man? Baja Blast is one of those things I feel like is. I mean, and I know I'm in the minority here. I always feel like that's so overrated. Every time I get the Baja Blast, I'm just kind of like, eh.
Well, I'm not really a huge Mountain Dew guy, but I love the fucking Baja Blast.
Baja Blast, yeah. I just every time I've gotten it, I'm just like, I don't get it. You know, I don't get. But I mean, that's just because. I mean, honestly, man, if I go to like I told you the other day when I was talking to you in Prime, when I went out for lunch,
it is the best.
I went to Burger King. I was like, I wanted to get one of the melts. But right next door was a McDonald's. And I was like, you know what? Is it fucking lazy or is it stupid of me to like get my burger at Burger King and then right around the corner, you know, right by the hospital, I just go right back into the McDonald's and get one of their Cokes. I was like, I don't need a Coke at Burger King, but McDonald's is right there. I'm going to get my melt here and I'm going to get my Coke next door.
Fine.
And that's how I am when I go to Taco Bell. If I go to Taco Bell, I'm not thinking about Baja Blast. I'm like, hey, McDonald's is right there. I'm gonna get my tacos. And I'm gonna go get my McDonald's Coke.
That's fair. And look, we told you do it. Like the Coke's worth it. And like, you know, it's Baja Blast is the best, and it fucking really is for Mountain Dew. I also love the Game Fuel and I love Code Red. Those are my 3.
Which one's Game Fuel? Is that the white one?
That was the orange one. That was when it came out for Halo 2 originally back in the day.
There's
and they used
one
it for
that's like
World
a
of
dark
Warcraft as well,
blue.
too.
I can't remember what that one's called.
That's a good one too, though.
I just had that one recently. I was like, oh, that one's actually pretty good.
I do enjoy a lot of their variants, but no, I do think that, you know, choosing the Cuddles. Dude, I'm telling you, the McDonald's I started at and ended at, we had the big Coke machine, like the big 30-gallon, whatever the fucking what is. They come in and fill it up. Like, we had the huge thing. But yeah, their entire filtration system and everything, and they're all cold and cool. Like, don't get the fucking ice, guys. Save the fuck. That's how they're getting you on it, because they make the most money off like the drinks and stuff like that because it's so low on the food costs.
Yeah.
But they're also fucking you with the ice. So
Cuddles wants to call in and give us a breakdown, 2-hour breakdown, deep dive into the multiplex system.
It's good stuff. It's good stuff.
I'm a huge fan of that.
We got a PB&J before bed, so I've been
I seen PB&J, and I was like, that's interesting. That's not a horrible choice.
So I've been doing that recently as well too. But I've been using blueberry waffles as bread with the PB&J in the middle.
Oh, okay. It's just a lot of work. I don't want to make anything.
It's a fucking toaster. I do all my bread toasted anyways.
I just don't want to do. I don't want to be like the PBJ. The actual assembly. That's a lot, dude. That's a lot.
Fair enough.
You would enjoy a blue waffle. What's a blue waffle? Oh Jesus! Apparently, I'm supposed to know. This is an inside joke that I don't get.
Look it up later on Google.
Plot twist: to have someone else make it for you. Nobody else, dude. When I drink, nobody wants to fucking hang out with me. Nobody else is here. I'm usually by myself playing video games. I mean, I could go get Ethan out of bed at like 2 a.m. Like, dude, make me a PBJ.
Fucking do it.
He'd be like, "What the fuck are you talking about, dude?" I'm like, it just sounds good.
Yeah. Now you know.
I'm gonna search.
You really don't know what a blue waffle is? That's not a bit.
I don't know what that is.
Okay.
I'm really. I want you to kind of explain it. Will it break terms of service?
Why don't you just get on your phone real quick and Google it while we're here?
Okay, well, tell a story.
All right. I don't really have a story to tell.
Well, I can't just look and be quiet.
Well, I'll
it's
talk
like
about
the Chevy Chase. So there's this dead silence everywhere.
Well, that's fine. Just look it up. We'll talk. We'll get to it. So, just so everybody's aware, I haven't been playing a lot of games this week. I just wanted you to know that. I really haven't had a whole lot of time to play games this week. I am looking forward to getting into some Diablo beta this weekend. I haven't touched it yet. I know there's the big beta thing this weekend to check out. So I'm hoping Friday night that I'll have some time to jump into the fucking beta. Check the images. Do the image search. Do the image search. Don't do the Wikipedia search, you pussy.
I'm at medical news today.
Yeah, because that's what you want to see. But I'm really excited about that Diablo. I know there's a lot of folks out here that we hang out with that are looking forward to playing that as well too. Honestly, June is looking to be a very massive game month for at least.
What am I supposed to see? I just see blue waffles, like literal blue waffles.
Do you have your like safe searching mode on? What are you 10?
What? I'm just saying, like literally, I just see blue waffle. It's just blue waffles.
Oh my god.
Here, is it X-rated or?
Well, yeah. Do you have safe search on?
What the fuck is safe search?
Oh my god. He has safe search on, guys. He doesn't know how to work the Googles. Oh my god. It's my fucking uncle over here. Jesus.
I'm gonna try to make it adult friendly.
Jesus fucking Christ. It's like a monkey fucking a coconut over here.
Oh wow.
God damn.
I'm
God
here. I'll
damn.
put blue waffle slang.
Anybody have any plans for this weekend by chance? I know we're getting nice weather finally up here. It was like 74 degrees driving over here actually today, which is really nice because I think my seasonal depression has been a whole mix of shit. It's fucking with my allergies all this week as well too. I know. Like, right, does he have a VCR? I don't know. Maybe I'll bring him some fucking VCR tapes.
I'm just saying, man. All I see, I'm still just seeing blue waffles everywhere.
You're fucking with me. You're doing something over there.
No, man. I typed in blue waffle slang.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know.
Medical. Try blue waffles, sexual or medical.
Sexual STD.
Sure, whatever. I don't fucking know. King Cuddles, can you help here? I don't know what the fuck's going idea here.
Oh God! Please don't tell me that's it.
I think you found it.
No,
I think you found it. I think you're getting there.
No, I'm good, man. I'm good.
I think you're getting there.
I'm good. If that's just a teaser, I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm good.
Yeah, we'll figure. Crash.
I'm good.
Crash. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. So.
What? I've been gaming. What the fuck you been doing, man? What do you just whatever right now?
Yeah, I've got a side project doing a little bit, but work's been also really busy. I had a concert last weekend.
What'd you go see?
Saw Spirit Box After the Burial, an interlude.
How was that?
It was awesome. It was a very good concert. I love the Fillmore in Detroit. Saw the Bad Friends podcast there.
Yep.
Saw Spirit Box there last weekend, and they had to upgrade to the Fillmore from the St. Andrews Hall because they sold so many tickets. And then I'm going back to the Fillmore in the fall to see Stavi from Stavi's World do his podcast or his stand up as well too. So very, very excited.
Are you going to see Nickelback there soon?
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, you do. You do. I tagged you on a WNEM post on Facebook.
You're really scumbag.
They were like, what concert do you really want to see? I go, my boy Tone wants to go see
Yeah.
Nickelback, and like the world saw it. And they're just like, he's a loser.
No.
Like, he's got great taste in music.
No.
What have I been up to? Well, dude, obviously the weather's warmer now.
Yeah.
It's gotten to finally that good time of year. So I was out smoking all weekend, smoked some food, made some wings.
Cool.
I went 3 different types of wings. I went and got some Japanese barbecue and let those wings marinate for like 6 hours in the fridge, and then threw them in the smoker. Dude, when those things came out, and then I threw them all in the air fryer, just kind of crisp them up a little bit.
Do that.
And dude, those things were fucking incredible. But then I also made some chili lime wings. Those were in the air fryer, and then the other ones, well, I got a hickory garlic rub from Frankenmuth a couple weeks ago. Put that on there and then air fried it, and then used some Kinder's Parmesan garlic sauce.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that was pretty good. So I had 3 different types of wings, and this weekend we're doing like a hibachi stir fry for Mother's Day. So I'm gonna get some shrimp, some chicken, get all the rice and all that jazz. So I'm really excited for that. Josh says it's golf weather. It is golf weather. I don't golf anymore though. I just go drive around in the cart and get drunk. That's all I really ever want to do in a golf course anymore. I mean, honestly, I haven't swung a club in
20
years. It's probably been like 10, 15 years since I've actually played like a round of golf. It just isn't in the cards.
Everybody's on the disc golf these days, anyways.
I do want to kind of get into disc golfing, man. I kind of want to get into it. My buddy does it all the time. He fucking loves that shit.
You got to smoke a lot of reefer too. You got to get that high on too, from my understanding.
Oh yeah, it makes it a lot better for sure. And Jay Hill will probably be able to attest that.
Yeah.
Disc golf is fun. Cuddle says, "Why is everything that Kinders make is amazing?" I don't know, dude. Like their rubs are amazing. Their sauces are amazing. They're just really good. That and Meat Church, all their rubs are fucking.
Would
have
no
really
idea.
good.
You never make me food except for that one time,
dude.
So last time after the last show when Josh was here, he made a Cuban for me and him to split, and we were fucking blown away on how delicious it was. First of all, the pulled pork, and then you got the boar's head and everything as well too. It was fucking amazing.
For being shit-faced, I was surprised how well that turned out.
That was fucking, and listen, like as somebody who loves sandwiches, one of the top 3 best sandwiches, and maybe the best of all of them, is a Cuban. Like you just can't beat a fucking. It's the pickle, the mustard, the fucking pulled pork, the ham. It just
Everything.
There's just
The
something
sourdough
about it.
bread,
Goddamn, and it was so fucking good. And after we were drinking all that stuff and having a half bite, fuck.
Yeah, it was. It turned out pretty good. I was really happy.
Good.
I wasn't sure if it was gonna be a good idea or not, but it turned out pretty good. So.
Good.
But yeah, man, with the warm weather, I also started my walking regimen. Now is the time of year between now and Thanksgiving where I try to lose all the weight that I put on during the winter. And usually, as usual, the first couple weeks, I fucking hurt.
Yeah, I bet.
My body, like when I wake up in the morning, it's like watching my grandpa get out of bed. You're just like, oh God, like everything's
Oh,
just
my blue waffles.
God, I hope not. But no, yeah, my legs are fucking killing me right now. But I have to do this, man, because like it doesn't matter how disciplined I am during like the spring and summer. Once fall hits and the holidays, it's just like cool. Willpower's gone.
Yeah.
You know, with the when the sun and everything all goes away, when it gets cold, it's just like cool. I don't care anymore.
Yep.
And I just pile it back on. So like I have to go like extra hard through the 4 months of like warm weather.
Yeah.
To try to shed off whatever I can before the next. Y'all should do a show on treadmill. It'd be like a 5-minute show, dude.
Yeah, that'd be really interesting.
Like if you really want to make it a short show, get me on that elliptical out there. I'm a fucking disaster on an elliptical. It is horrific.
Yeah.
Horrific. I don't know how people can do that. We got it, and I tried it like 3 times. I was like, why did we buy this? This thing fucking sucks. This thing, it does. It sucks. Ellipticals are fucking trash. Fuck them. My wife can do it with no problem, but I can't do it. I can do that for hours. Really? I can eat a peach for hours.
Eat peach for hours, right?
I can eat a peach for hours. Fuck ellipticals. I'll eat a peach for hours. All right, Tone. We got a bunch of shit to talk about tonight. We got games. We got movies. We got trailers. We're going to get to our first topic. We've got a couple video games we want to talk about. Up first, Tone, Star Wars Jedi Survivor is out. We've been playing it.
Yes.
I think we're still stuck on Kobo. I don't think...
I finally left because the article...
You finally got off of Kobo.
Yeah, there was an article I read that says, hey, you want to enjoy the game, leave Kobo ASAP. Okay.
Kobo is a massive...
That's a hub.
That's a huge area.
That's like... I equate... Well, originally in the first game, the ship was your hub.
Yep.
Now Kobo is your hub, which is a fucking planet in a
Yep.
big area, pretty big area. You know, and it's like any other game that's got like a home base, and there's like, you know, it always go back to that Metroidvania that they play. Like, you know, there's like, oh, when you get these other things you unlock, now you can go back to this other one, do this puzzle, and do the stuff. So it's just kind of how it's set up. That, but yeah, it's a massive.
It's a huge area. Dude. You're talking about the fucking frog. I don't even know where that's at.
Yeah, you guys still haven't found that?
I haven't found the frog yet.
Son of Ogobodo.
Is it the son of Ogobodo? Really?
That's his name.
The son of. Oh
yeah. I tried twice and I said nope. I'm
Man, good. I mean, seriously, you took on the Rancor though, right?
I did take on the Rancor.
Well, you should be more than prepped to take on the son of Ogobodo. No. Does he have a similar moveset, or is he much more difficult this time around?
I don't care.
Where's he at in Kobo?
So did you ever make it to that base out there that's got the all the B1 and B2 droids?
Yes.
Okay, so if you go on the second level of it and walk the catwalks and go around, there's a big circle area, and there'll be a bunch of B1 droids. And if you go in the center, there's a big circle, and if you step on it, it opens up, and you fall in, and there's that cocksucker.
Really? I didn't know. Dude, I've been there. I went to that area several times because it was a good place to grind out.
It's a great place to grind out. Just don't fall into the fucking thing.
There's two spots on Kobo that are similar. One is with the BD droids, and then there's another one across the way that I think has. Is it the who are the they're not droids. Who's the other faction that's on Kobo?
The Bedlam, whatever.
Raiders. Bedlam Raiders. Is the Bedlam Raiders?
I left. Drastin, you piece of shit.
Tone has never left. What's Kobach? I don't know what Kobach is. He hasn't left Kobo. What's Kobach?
I don't know. He's doing a bit.
Somebody's doing a bit.
One of you two are doing a bit.
There's like 2 areas in that on Kobo that you can go really grind out like XP if you want to and rank up. I did go to the BD spot because there was a lot of like droids and some of those bigger.
Yeah,
droids
it's an old base, and like you go in there, and then there's like they got one of the older like Clone Wars ship, and it'll just keep dropping like little troops.
Yeah.
So, but like there's like if you go the catwalk and walk all the way around, and the end of it's this big circle arena top part. Yeah, when you get over there, it just opens up. And you fall in, and there's fucking.
I'm doing that this week.
You ain't beating him.
I beat the other one real easily.
Yeah.
What's the name? Agabodo or something?
Agabodo? Yeah, something like that.
Tone, though, overall thoughts so far. I mean, I haven't played a whole lot, but I mean, and you did get off Kobo.
Yes, I got off Kobo.
I think what's after Kobo is Jeddah, and what's the other place?
You got the Shattered Moon.
Shattered Moon. I've been to after Kobo. I was like, I need to fucking leave. But the thing is, man, you go to Jeddah and the Shattered Moon. And you're out of there real quick. You're just like, okay, we're done here for now.
Yeah, Jeddah, I don't like the layout of Jeddah. I get what they were kind of doing there, but it's also kind of like...
Shattered Moon is fucking dope, even though it's way more platformy.
Yeah, I was way in my element on Shattered Moon. I was way into that.
Yeah.
Because even getting to the one secret, the one rumor was kind of a bitch because you actually had to like think outside the box about how you're going to get backwards to that spot. and I was able to finally figure it out to get that stick. I have 6 stims, and I've only been to 3 planets.
Oh, are you talking about the one that's underneath when you go down the thing and you have to slide down underneath?
You have to almost slide up, and then I don't know how to explain it.
I know which one, I know exactly which one you're talking about. I was just like, how do I get to that thing that's in there?
Yeah,
I figured it out. It wasn't as difficult as you made it out to be.
Whatever.
Jedi had 2 super awesome moments with Merrick.
There's some pretty cool, there's some really cool things about Jedi there for sure.
I accidentally skipped through one of the awesome final kills of one of the guy. I think the guy who gives you the blaster stance. I for some reason my thing was set on to where if I hit X, it'll skip a whole scene.
Oh.
And like I had gotten to the part in the fight where it was gonna do the final cutscene where you kill him, and I thought I was still fighting in the fight, so I hit X and it skipped the scene. I was like, oh, and Dresden's like, yeah, you just missed one of the cooler kill scenes. I was like, God damn it, dude. So, but overall thoughts, man. I mean, what you played so far?
So listen. I love the first game. Respawn. I have a lot of faith in Respawn, just generally when it comes to making games and making immersive. I mean, Titanfall when that first dropped. Let's back it up. Respawn is the original Infinity Ward. They made the original Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 that everybody fucking still loves. It's got ghosts and all that stuff. That's that old crew. You know, those are the old guys. So they get a Titanfall, release it. Titanfall did all right releasing, had great concept, needed more, right?
Yeah, needed
Titanfall 2 comes out, and then Titanfall 2 was like a 4 and a 5 half-hour sci-fi first-person shooter story. That was really awesome. They really dove into that. Plus, the game was great. Like, I played a fuck ton of Titanfall 2 online. This is when Halo 5 was out, and I did not like Halo 5, so I was able to play an online shooter that played good, had good mechanics, and it was a good first-person shooter, and I could enjoy some online play. So when they got hold of, doing Jedi Fallen Order, I was like, oh, this is interesting. Respawn's doing it, right? So great job, created this new character, intertwines in with the story very well, had some great moments in that game, and some of the stuff at the end was just mind-blowing. So clearly after that was done, we wanted more, right? Well, then finally, after all this wait, we got Jedi Survivor. Now, obviously, I feel like overall, it's exactly what a lot of people said. If you liked the first game, you had a good time with it, it's more of that, better. So there's more, and it's better. So it's more better. Yay. Which it is. And again, it's a Metroidvania at heart. It's just it's a third-person version of that.
Metroidvania Souls
Souls as well too. Like the combat is, you can't just button mash your way.
Right.
Even though the combat's a little easier, I think, in this game, which is good.
Doesn't seem as frustrating.
No, if you time the blockings really well, if you can manage to get in there, that's a great game changer in this game. The environments are fantastic. The story's already pushing great. Mechanics are awesome. I love the progression systems even more deep now at this point as well. So there's a lot going on. Now, it isn't without its issues. I know you'll dive into that a little bit more, but clearly there's some issues with this. The PC port's been a hot mess with this.
Version was
I can't speak necessarily on that, why that is the way that is. I don't know. Maybe it's because there's so many different moving parts literally with PCs, and porting over is difficult if they don't build for PC originally. They're building for consoles for these games.
Can't speak to it either, but I just watched Digital Foundry's video and was like, ugh.
Yeah. So it's pretty shitty. So the folks on the PC side of it are super pissed. There's some other people pissed as well too, and it's valid. Like, the game's not without its faults. I haven't experienced a lot of those. I will say though that we were talking about this the other day. Like, they had pushed this game out a month prior to its originally supposed to be released. It's supposed to be out in April. And they pushed it out, and Drassen was the first one to say, he's like, got a feeling they probably wanted it out right before May 4th. He's probably right, because it dropped literally right before.
That's not a respawn decision.
And if we know anything about EA in the past, they are notorious for pushing their developers to put out broken shit just so it gets out. So, definitely the folks out there that are a little annoyed with what they've come across, I get
Which
it.
is weird to me, dude, because, don't get me wrong, May 4th is awesome. I think it's a great way to celebrate things Star Wars.
They announce a fuck ton of shit.
But, that's the thing, like Star Wars, you can release any Star Wars IP property, game, movie, whatever, on any day. It doesn't need to launch near. It's not like May 4th is going to drum up any more excitement. It's not going to push a Star Wars game over the edge. Right. It's already over the edge. There's already hype for it.
Right.
So for EA to sit there and be like, let's get this out before May 4th, if I'm Respawn, I'm going, why?
Right.
We're making a Star Wars game. Nobody gives a fuck. We could drop this shit out in January, and everyone's going to be hyped for it. Nobody gives a fuck about May 4th.
Cuddles, you are absolutely right. That is the way the industry's been going since 2010, when everybody wanted to do the DLC, and it's been eating itself from the inside out because they're worried about bottom line and numbers. Now, the point is that EA has been the first and the biggest one early on classically known to be doing this as well too. Because even during the 360 and the PS3 era, when we had online connectivity, games I feel like overall back then didn't come out as broken as they do these days. But nowadays, gaming is such a massive industry, like the movie industry. It's actually starting to kind of eclipse some of the that kind of medium as well too. It's just that EA has been doing that so long and well known to be called out for that as well too. And there's a couple other publishers as well that have done that more consistently. EA has been known to also close down good developmental studios if things don't go away. Literally, EA has been known to say to blame a developer for a game being shit, but EA was the one that said get it out.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So.
Get it out for May 4th.
Right. So while EA is not the only one for sure, the gaming industry and a lot of the publishers are at fault of that. EA has been doing it for quite a long time. I will always go back to, and I'll never forget the release of SimCity 4 on PC. Was it SimCity 4?
Yeah.
SimCity, maybe it was SimCities. This is like circa 2011, 2012. They made a SimCity game that you had to have online VR. You had to be connected on time. There were 3 or 4 people in my home, roommates living there, and some other friends. We had about 6 to 8 of us playing. If you had enough people, you could build a region, which means you had enough resources. You could build like Kennedy Space Center or something, right? That game required you to be online the entire time, and everybody's like, "Why the fuck, EA, did you make a Sim City game that required us to be on?" And it came out and it was broken as fuck, and you can never do that, and everybody was hype about it. So that's my point with that, and I digress on that as well too. But overall, the game's fun. I love the different stances. However, I will say I am completely into the Darth Maul style, the double ended.
Yep.
I definitely want to get more with the double blade and be like the Ahsoka. I don't actually like the one lightsaber in the gun. It just doesn't. I don't like the flow of it.
I like that the what's the stance that has the Kylo Ren.
That's the heavy. Yeah, it's like
that one. I'm starting to get the hang of, but man, button mashing with that is it, dude. That's a death. Like a death. Yeah. If you button mash with the fucking heavy one, you are in deep shit because it takes so long for the attacks.
You gotta wind up.
So you got to be really a little bit more mindful of that.
Yep.
But when you can time things out right and you can parry and you can make light work of a lot of enemies if you're much more patient. But yeah, if you button mash with the heavy, you're fucked.
Yeah, blaster stance. I know that's definitely Draston's. Cuddles. So I'll digress on this one more time because that's a fair bring up as well too, because you can tell how annoyed I am. I worked at GameStop selling games during this entire thing, the rise of EA. Originally, if you remember, in the early 360 PS3 era, about halfway through, as somebody who sold used games with GameStop, you could buy a brand new Madden game but could not play it online because you didn't have the online code.
Yep.
EA,
oh my God,
EA is classically known for being the kind of publisher who's always trying to push the envelope, see how far they can get away with their bullshit.
Yeah.
Now it's Ubisoft, honestly, a lot of times these days as well, too. But EA, I mean, they're all bad, like to some degree, for sure. And I could talk about each one individually, but it's because of, again, for 14 years, I sold this shit and had to deal with a lot of this stuff. EA, as a gamer, has had some of my favorite franchises, Need for Speed, Dead Space, Dragon Age, BioWare's shit. Visceral doesn't exist. I have a lot of grudge against EA, for sure. And a lot of it's warranted as well, too.
Ubisoft is hot garbage. They are when they try to make all their fucking IPs battle royale games. I still think Rainbow Six Siege is one of the few like IPs where they've gotten it right in terms of how they support it and how they continue to carry that as a live service game. But all these other fucking battle royale games. I mean, Christ, dude, they were trying to make a fucking Splinter Cell battle royale game,
and now it got trashed, didn't it?
Yeah, it's gone. I mean, dude, who the fuck, dude? You have Spies vs. Mercs. One of the best, most more unique multiplayer modes on the PS3 or the PS2 and PS3, Xbox 360, Xbox era. That fucking mode was sweet. And you're trying to squeeze in a battle royale game into a Splinter Cell game?
The best Splinter Cell they've done in the last decade was that little piece they put in Wildlands.
Forgot about that. You could
Michael Ironside came back to the voice as well too.
I still am in the minority. I thought Blacklist was fucking awesome. I really liked Blacklist. I thought that was a really good Splinter Cell game. But dude,
that didn't get enough love. Yeah,
I understand the whole Michael Ironside thing, and I love Michael Ironside. But when you have the motion capture guy as the actor, Michael Ironside is not going to be able to do any of the shit that Sam Fisher's supposed to do. Plain and simple. And I actually like the guy who did the voice. I thought he was a good Sam Fisher. Do I love Michael Ironside? Yes, absolutely. But Michael Ironside ain't doing backflips and hanging off.
If we
and
could just
shit.
get the series moving forward, that's all we want.
Yeah, but I mean, Christ, dude, they were trying to make a battle royale game in Splinter Cell. You're fucking lost if you're doing that shit. You clearly lost your way.
Ubisoft
and don't know how to handle your IP.
It really started with
sell your IP.
It really started with Assassin's Creed, and they're clearing that flag for so long and so hard. And then they found out they could do live service. They could start selling. You want a complete Assassin's Creed game, you got to pay $120 for it at this point.
Huh?
They were one of the first ones to try that too. You can get a decent game for $60. You really can.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to experience a full game, be ready to shell out that extra money. But anyways.
Speaking of which, the Division BR is coming out soon. I forgot they're doing a Division BR as well. Just like look. Man.
Yeah, what's the pulse?
Unless it's Ghost Recon, like you said, Advanced Warfighter. I thought Future Soldier was so good, but it died so fast. But like old school Ghost Recon and Rainbow Six, that's the only Ubisoft shit. Unless they do a proper Splinter Cell game, dude, I'm beyond
I love
Assassin's
Wildlands.
Creed. I mean, look, even then, like I want a much more intimate, smaller. I don't need everything to be fucking open world. You know what I'm saying? It's just I'm indifferent on that. Like I go when I think of Ghost. It might have been laggy. I didn't have any lag. I don't remember any lag when I played it. But I mean, that was also like 10 years ago, so I don't fucking remember anything. But I just love the mechanics in that game, the synergy between the different like types of abilities that you had. You know, I loved hacking people that were downed and like giving my team information. Like I loved all that sort of shit. I just thought Ghost Recon had a really good multiplayer suite of stuff to do, right up there with Rainbow Six Vegas. I thought Vegas was such a fucking awesome game. Yeah. That whole series was fucking sweet, and I do like Siege as well. But anyways, back to Star Wars. I do like this game a lot. It's a stunningly beautiful game. It looks fantastic. I mean, when the game first starts on Coruscant, I mean, it is incredible.
It's pretty sexy.
Everything about this game looks really, really good. I started in quality mode just because I had heard people saying there were issues with performance mode. I know you haven't had too much of an issue with
performance,
it.
No.
But I when I got into quality, like when I play some of these games, and if you go into the quality mode, the 30 FPS, I'll even say like, for example, God of War. When I got into like the quality mode, I just don't, for whatever reason, some of these games, they just don't feel smooth.
They don't move right.
They don't move right. They don't look right in 30 FPS for me anyways. And then I'll always go to performance. Yeah. But man, when I go back, when I play like this game and I play it in 30 FPS, I'm like, man, this just feels nice. Mm-hmm. Like it feels really smooth. Like it's how I remember playing Destiny when it first came out. Everyone's like, how can you play a 30 FPS first person shooter? Just like, ugh. But it just felt, I mean, Bungie has those shooter mechanics. Mm-hmm. They know how to make a fucking shooter. And at 30 frames, it worked really good. And so for the most part, so I really like that. But like this game just felt good in quality mode. So I enjoy playing. Plus you get the ray tracing and all that stuff in quality mode. Mm-hmm. I was like, cool, I'm down with this. And so it's a beautiful looking game, even though it's still got technical issues on console. It's still kind of I don't want to say it's a mess, but it's not as consistent as I was like, especially on Kobo. There are some spots where I'm running around and that thing is just like chugging. It's usually by waterfalls, or if you're in the water, if you go to certain spots, it is really kind of chugging. And I remember I did switch it over to performance mode in some of those areas after you guys were talking about it. And even in those areas by the waterfalls, this thing, it just slows down considerably. Mm-hmm. And it really, I feel like when you have a dip in frame rate at 60 frames, it's much more noticeable than when it's at 30 frames. Mm-hmm. But even at 30 frames in quality mode, there's some spots I'm just like, ugh, it's kind of rough. I've had some pop in here and there. I've had some characters that are like stuck in the T pose.
I've had some
the T pose.
I've had some graphics like kind of clip, and all of a sudden you can see the inside of the world. Like, whoa, that could be bad. But
yeah, I've had the crash. I know Drastic said he's had it crash. I've had it crash back on the PlayStation. I've had it crash all the way out. There are some technical issues, and it's unfortunate because Respawn is such a great developer, and they do make great games. Hopefully, they're able to continue to push out patches. I know they just released another one. I think it was yesterday or today.
Yesterday
on console that is supposed to address more stuff. PC is starting to come around, but it's still kind of more of a mess.
Might be late on that one.
But like, it's just like the new stances are fun. The skill tree is fun. It's deep. There's a lot of stuff. And the stances, again, they allow you to play certain different ways, ways that you're much more comfortable playing. So I definitely dig that side of it. Chief Vet says, I don't have a choice because my graphics card is ancient.
Your graphics card, on the PC right now. Yeah.
You got to have like the highest end shit to even get any kind of performance out of this game. And that's bullshit. But I mean, like I said, man, it's all there. Like I just hope they're able to clean up some of the technical issues, but the story is great. I don't know much about the High Republic, but this is really interesting. Some of the stuff they're exploring.
That's what's blowing, I think, Drassen in my mind, at least. I know Drassen was been calling that too. He's like, holy shit, they're leaning into the High Republic. High Republic is 500 years before, like, the Phantom Menace, basically, and it's where they're living with a lot of books. So you're getting, like, peak younger Yoda, like halfway through his age. He's 800, 900 years old in Jedi when he dies. So he's more like 400, 500 years old.
He's
so
spry 400.
Right. So basically they're on the frontier of parts of the galaxy and they're like exploring and finding new places and stuff like that, which is kind of neat because, like, you know, really if you didn't read, if you want to enjoy it, it's got to be comics or book form, which I haven't really touched a whole lot of, but I have been very interested into. And I like that a lot of these callbacks are tying back to that. So it's very smart that they're tying into things instead of worrying about the sequel trilogy and everything else going on like we all do with everything now, that they're focusing on like another area of their canon that is unexplored, you know, and people don't know about. So it's really neat to see that because it's like, you know, because Old Republic stuff's 3,000 to 5,000 years older than like Phantom Menace. So this is like, you know, within that millennia of the Phantom Menace. So it just there's this area of time that they can just work with. So kind of neat.
Yeah, it's an engaging story. Again, I love the worlds that we've explored. The areas are they're vast. Some of them are a little bit smaller, but Kobo is can be a little overwhelming. There's a lot to explore on Kobo, which is a good thing because, like I said, every time you go to like either Jeddah or what's the other place with the platforming,
Shattered Moon.
Shattered Moon, you're unlocking abilities that will allow you to come back to Kobo and
puzzles
explore
and
some new
shit.
spots. Yes, those little what are those boxes called that you go into when you go down the elevator and there's like dungeons for you to kind of explore.
Oh fuck, I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about? I can't remember what those things are called. They're Jedi cubes or whatever the fuck they are. But yeah,
Like
those are
holocrons
fucking
and
sweet.
shit?
What is it?
Holocrons and shit? No.
Yeah, I don't even know what the fuck it's called. I'm sure Drastin, do your fucking job. What are
Nerd,
those
where you
things
at,
called?
nerd?
You nerd.
And yeah, Crash, you can borrow Fallen Order. I got it on disc at home, so.
Yeah, and but that's the other thing I do. I still have to finish the first game. Get on it.
Yeah, get on it, yo.
Get on it. What are you talking about? You know how you go down into those cubes? Like one on Kobo is right by the store, and you go down the elevator, and there's like a puzzle where you got to move stuff around. What are those things called?
Trials?
Right, I don't almost like Trials. But I can't remember what they are. But they're located all across like different maps. They're you know, some of them are kind of hidden. But you go down there. The temples. There you go. Yes, there you go. The temples. You know what I'm talking about? Have you done one yet?
No.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I was doing other stuff on Kobo. I mean, I found the
It's literally there's one right.
I know that you come up from the story like with the droid.
Yeah.
But I've been so into like some of the other puzzles and like clearly the son of Ogobodo and like also like finding the Jawas and going like all around over too. Like man.
Are you sure? Is it
it's gotta be.
It's gotta be boners. I think that's what I was referring to.
We was bending dicks under the fucking planet's crust.
Jeez. But no, overall, man, it's a good experience so far. I'm gonna be hopping back into it this weekend. It's a lot of fun, man. It's fun to play. I do hope they can iron out a lot of these, especially for the PC folks. Like I said, that thing was just an unmitigated disaster. I think it was Digital Foundry said it's like one of the worst ports ever they've ever seen.
That's not a great accolade to have at all.
And so that's a major bummer. But I don't know how long it takes to beat this game. I don't know where
Drastin, we were in chat and Discord Saturday, and he's like, I guess I just beat the game. And
did he beat the game?
Yeah, and he let the credits roll. I guess the credits go on for an hour and a half.
Oh shit! Good for you, Drastin. Go outside and touch
grass. Kind of Crash.
25 hours. It's not bad.
I mean, that's if you're not doing all the extra shit, I guess. So
yeah, I guarantee he hasn't done any of the extra stuff. He just fast tracked the main story.
Yeah, no, he's insane. He hasn't gone to sleep in days.
Is there an end credit scene?
Yes.
Is there an end credit scene? Okay. All right. Dope. All right, but yeah, that's our thoughts on Star Wars Jedi Survivor. What do you think of it? Are you playing on PC? Are you fucking stuck waiting for multiple updates? If you're playing on consoles, what are your thoughts on it? Make sure you let us know in the comments. Well, if you're watching on YouTube, let us know in the comments. If you're listening on Spotify or iTunes, fucking hit us up wherever. Social media. Tone's on. You're on what? True Social. You're also on other ones. So that's awesome. You can check him out there and share your thoughts with him on Star Wars Jedi Survivor. All right, moving on. We have some more gaming news. Now, Tone, I'm going to do a small disclaimer here. Okay?
Small disclaimer.
This is a small disclaimer. Hi, I'm the Dude79 with Banter and Babble. I want to make it a point to say this right now. If you enjoy Redfall, I'm happy for you. I'm very, very happy for you. And you should be. If you're having a good time playing it, awesome.
That's all that matters.
If anyone says they're not having a good experience with it, that's okay. I'm going to be one of those guys. I don't think this is a terrible game. Now, look, these reviews are not flattering. These aren't good. A 56 on Meta, a 59 on OpenCritic, and a user score of 3.2. Not good. This is not good for Redfall. That being said, I don't think this is the worst game that I've ever played. I don't think it's a terrible game. But certain aspects of this game are undercooked or borderline awful. Okay? But not the overall game. Okay? Redfall, I've played almost 22 hours of Redfall now. I'm up to level 20. I've put some time into this game. The main reason I'm putting game, we have Cuddles again. I'm not going to debate any of that. I think you're right. I've had fun playing the game. When we're playing in a group, it's fun. Doesn't make the game good. I can play a lot of co-op games with friends and they're fun, but the game itself can still be an issue. And as somebody, and the reason I played 22 hours of this game is because I love Arcane. Because I know what they're capable of with Dishonored and Deathloop. Those are good games. This, compared to those games, is not a good game. 22 hours into this game, I've played it both cooperatively and I've played it solo. This game lacks polish, it lacks structure, and the moment-to-moment gameplay, while fun with friends in certain elements, is still lacking in a lot of other areas. We streamed it the other night. And once we got to the other side of Redfall, we went through the time thing, and you and I were in there, we were exploring it. We were trying to find, like, the maritime base. And as we're going through, we maybe encountered two pockets of enemies. It's a very boring world. And that's unfortunate because Dishonored was not boring. Mm-hmm. There was always stuff going on. There was smart enemies that you had to prepare for, that you had to contend with. You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of stuff to do in that in Deathloop. This world is just undercooked. It's unpolished, and it's just not good. It's not good. That kills me to say it because I love Arcane.
I mean, you put 22 hours into it.
22 hours into it.
A lot of time to have an
I'm
opinion.
putting all that time because I want to see when does the Arcane magic kick in. And I want to be able to form an honest opinion about it. Mm-hmm. Now, but that also goes back, if this was a truly awful game, mm-hmm. I wouldn't put 22 hours into it.
Right.
I can put 22 hours into a okay game because I'm curious, when's it going to take off? When's that Arcane magic going to kick in?
Right.
It hasn't yet. And playing, but there are some elements. There's little hints. I can see certain design choices. Like I do remember something similar in Dishonored, or I do remember something similar to Deathloop, but it's undercooked. You have this world to explore. You have these houses to explore. Most of them don't have shit in it. Nothing of interest. You can find resources that you get for credits that you can buy guns with, but some of the issues I have with this game, like, for example, there's locksmiths or lockpicks. You can have a lockpick. You can unlock stuff and get, you think there's going to be something cool in there.
Right.
I get a lockpick. I was telling you before the show. I was in an area, in the new area that you unlock halfway through the story, and I came upon this hut, or like this I don't know, this little house, and there's a lockpick on the door. And I'm like, shit, I got a couple lockpicks. Let's open it.
Right.
What's inside? What are they hiding from me? I lockpick that shit open, and I go in, dude, nothing. Not a collectible, not a safe, not a gun, nothing. And I was like, what the fuck? Why is this lockpicked?
Right.
And then I went to another place, Tone. Lockpick on the door. And before I lockpicked, I was like, wait a minute. There's windows everywhere. Smash the windows, jump through. Why is there a lockpick on the door, dude? Again, it's just little things like that, where it's just like, this is just fucking undercooked. There's no rhyme or reason for some of this stuff, and the biggest issue with the game that takes away from everything is the brain dead AI. Yes, you can play it on midnight or whatever the highest difficulty setting is. It doesn't change the fact that they're fucking stupid. Sure, they take more bullets. Oh, cool, I'm shooting a dumb AI guy. Dude, playing it solo, you can literally just, you'll see like 3 or 4 vampires, okay? And I'm a little bit off with the stake gun, which is a fucking dope-ass gun. And I'll sit there and line up a vampire, and boom, shoot, its head explodes and it dies. And when you kill a vampire, it dies in explosive fashion. It looks like a fucking flare. Like, the whole area should know. The vampire right next to it will just be like this. What's going on? And you're like, oh, cool. So I'll kill this guy. Kill the next guy. He blows up. The next vampire next to him. Just kind of like sitting around chilling. Nothing happening to my peeps. And it's just like, okay, dude. The AI in this game is Black Ops declassified bad. It's really bad. And that takes away from the challenge. Yeah, you can get overwhelmed if you're playing solo, but if you're playing remotely smart with your abilities and you're killing from a distance, it's not a challenge.
Right.
So if the game's not challenging and the missions are kind of just fetch quests, go here, get this, and there's nothing really worth exploring when you're using lockpicks, then there's nothing there. The upgrade system, the weapon system is kind of like You know, the weapon, you get a good stake gun, you really don't need anything else. Mm-hmm. A sniper rifle with a silencer is useful. But, I mean, there's just, the weapons are, and then each character has these abilities, but there's nothing, like, super amazing about them. My guy goes invis and throws a fucking raven that marks enemies.
So, this game has similarities to other games that are out there, as right, what, too? It lives in those kind of multiplayer. Like, what would you compare, like, other games similar to? Like, is Ghostbusters similar to that?
No. I think it's more like a Borderlands.
It's more like a Borderlands. Okay.
I mean, obviously not 1-to-1, but so I mean, it's the same thing. You're playing cooperatively. Okay. You're going through a world. You're pushing a movie.
And it's mostly like AI and stuff like that.
Yeah, AI and your loot. It's basically kind of a looter shooter. You're finding different loot and stuff. Mm-hmm. There you go. Back 4 Blood meets Borderlands.
Okay, cool. Okay.
But Back 4 Blood and Borderlands do it a lot better than Redfall. And that says a lot because Back 4 Blood was kind of mid. Right. And Borderlands I feel like set the tone for this genre. Like, they just really have an understanding.
Right.
I look, man, this isn't the worst game I ever played, but this isn't a good game. Mm-hmm. And the reason it's disappointing is because of what Arcane is capable of, because of what they've done in the past.
Correct.
And that's what makes it so difficult to, like, just play this. You're just like, man, this is really just not good.
So, Brian, you mentioned he brings up something about No Man's Sky, which is it's kind of, I think the difference between No Man's Sky, because I think that's a fair perspective. Anything can fix something that comes out that's not good or broken with more and more patches, right? I think the problem comparing that game to this game is No Man's Sky is literally trying to create a digital simulated universe. It was an overambitious project that I don't think the group of the Smile or whatever it is, Hello Games or whatever, they're like 20 people or less. I think they're way over their head, and I don't think they conveyed that properly as well too. As somebody who played No Man's Sky right at the get, and even though it was like lacking a lot of like things to do, there was still a lot of exploration you can do. You could still like explore. It was more of a exploration game. Originally was kind of meant to what it was to be as well too, and not necessarily what it's become now. Now over time they've created an entirely crazy game. Don't get me wrong, but I think it's there are some similarities you can make with that. Just a sense like could this game be fixed with some patches? It sounds like with Redfall, absolutely they could fix some certain things of this game for sure, but I think it's hard to kind of compare those two as well.
And you know, you mentioned that, and it probably is something they can fix. And Electric Panther just made a great point. He said,
that's better.
But here's the problem. So Electric Panther says, so because of what Arcane has done and can do y'all believe that this can be redeemed much like Cyberpunk was for CG Projekt Red? Obviously, I think any game can be fixed over time. Yeah. Especially when something like Arcane. The only problem is they've already got Arcane working on a new title. Microsoft knew that this game was not going to be good.
Right.
There's reports out there going now saying that this is not what Microsoft had in mind, and they've already got Arcane working on their next title. Mm-hmm. Redfall is going to fade away, unfortunately. My biggest issue is AI. You fix that and the game changes a lot. The mission structure needs to change still. It's pretty basic. The world needs more activities. It's more than just AI. There's multiple issues with this game. Again, I don't hate this game, but I've had much better experiences in cooperative games from many other games. Mm-hmm. It's just not great. It's just not good. It's not where it should be. And my understanding is Microsoft's already kind of moving on from this. Yeah, you'll probably get some updates. You'll probably have a small team designated to this, but they've already got Arcane working on their next title. Redfall will not be a priority going forward for Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
And that's unfortunate. But I mean, Arcane probably is already working on Dishonored 3. They're probably like, look, just go do what you do best.
Right.
You tried something, it didn't work out. It reviewed poorly. For some reason, Microsoft saw this. Sadly, it's Anthem all over. That's probably pretty close to the truth.
That's actually a really good analogy between the two.
That's probably pretty close to the truth. A small minimal team designated to Redfall to kind of keep it updated with shit going forward. But most of Arcane is already working on something else, which is unfortunate because clearly they're much better than this. But my understanding, from based on the reports that came out like last couple of weeks or so, Microsoft went in, they weren't impressed by what they saw, and they had them put it out. I mean, they delayed this game a year, you guys. I mean, they did. They delayed this last May a whole year, and this is what you get. This is what you get after a year delay. I mean, it is what it is. I'm not here to attack Arcane, but this is what it is. These are the facts. They delayed this game a year, and it's still mid at best, which is unfortunate because Arcane is capable of so much more.
Yeah, I'll never forget the first time I played Dishonored.
Dishonored was fucking incredible.
Blew my fucking
Deathloop
mind.
again was another different type of game, but it was so unique.
Yeah.
There's nothing unique.
Deathloop did not get enough love either.
This game is not unique. It's unpolished. It feels rushed. And even Phil Spencer, when we're going to talk about his interview, he said they made so many mistakes with this by saying, 60 frames, and it didn't launch. They talked about how this game will have 60 frames, and then it doesn't launch with it. And in his interview this week, he said, 60 frames, we have a timeline for that. That probably not going to be around for a while. Probably not going to see 60 frames for a while.
People won't be playing.
I mean, that'd be cool if they dropped the next week and I have to eat crow. But based on that, if you tell me we have a timeline for 60 frames, cool. See you in a couple months when nobody cares. Nobody cares. And that's unfortunate for Arcane. You know, and I'll finish this game. I think I looked at the mission list online. I have like 4 more missions and I'll be done with the game. I got to go through and do a couple safe house missions. Dude, you'll be moved on from this. I don't see Redfall being a games as a service type of game where they're going to like constantly iterate upon it and add new missions and stuff. There might be some DLC planned. I have no idea. All I know is Arcane is working on something else. The bulk of the studio has moved on to something else. That tells me this game is not a priority. Mm-hmm. Would I like to see it get the Grounded treatment where they constantly add stuff to it and improve upon it? Because Grounded was well received when it showed up, and they've even made it better. Mm-hmm. But by all accounts, from my understanding, this game is like, they want to be done with this shit. Which is unfortunate because this was supposed to be a huge title for Game Pass, for Xbox, the first big title from the Bethesda merger other than Hi-Fi, which kind of shocked everybody. This is a disappointing experience. Look, I'll play it with Cuddles and get through it. But anytime, that's the issue I have playing with cooperative in any game, really. When I play something cooperatively with friends, it's automatically going to be fun with friends. Mm. But it doesn't change the fact that the AI is terrible, the missions are lame, the world is bare bones. Yeah, I can sit there and we can talk, and it's a good experience for me to hang out with my friends. But I'm not fucking talking about this game in 6 months. I'm like anxious to get this thing done so I can move on from it and just be like, okay, look, I played it, and it didn't meet my expectations. And, I don't think it's unfair to have high expectations for a game from a developer who has made nothing but quality stuff.
But it's not like you're alone either, though. Right. From what it looks like as well.
I played it solo, and the problem with solo is it's a game that you can play solo, and I do appreciate that. So you don't have to have people to play with it. But the problem with it being solo is it makes it even more obvious how stupid the AI is.
Yeah,
you have to be a little bit slower, but like the AI is just really, really stupid, and that's just. I like a challenge, I like it to be fun and exciting. I just want this game to be done with this at this point. And once I finish it, I'll be done with it and move on, and I'll wait for whatever Arcane does next. I have the AI can go from derp to assassin mode real quick. They can, but even then, like I've gone into situations where I've riled up a bunch of vampires, but Jacob has like an invisibility cloak. So once they all start attacking, I'm like, oh, hit the cloak, run back by a tree, and they all stop looking for me. And then when my cloak goes away, I just start doing headshots with the stake rifle from a distance. Sorry, that's not a challenge. That's just me taking advantage of stupid AI. I went into a situation, they override me, I go invisible, I fall back, and I kill them all. So it's just, it's disappointing. It's disappointing, but I don't think it's the worst game I've ever played. We played some shitty games. It's just disappointing. It's not a terrible game. It's just a disappointing game. But the thing about this is, after the launch and after the reviews, an unprecedented thing. I never expected it. When a game gets bad, Jim Ryan didn't come out when Forspoken was bombed by critics and users alike. Forspoken came out and the critics were like, "Oh, this game sucks," and some of the players were like, "Oh, this game sucks." Fucking Jim Ryan's not coming out and doing interviews going, "Oh, well, we didn't know what to expect." Blah blah blah. None of that shit. This week, Phil Spencer came out and sat down with Kind of Funny Games and actually did a fucking 30-minute interview talking about
almost awkward at some points. It felt like.
Well, I mean, it wasn't Square's fault, but I mean, it was something that was. I mean, and Brian, my understanding is Xbox didn't have a whole lot to do with Redfall either, so it's more of a Bethesda thing. But because Bethesda is tied to Xbox, it's looked at as an Xbox thing, and because Forspoken was a PS5 exclusive and PC or whatever, it's going to be viewed as a PlayStation title. So I mean, we can talk about this isn't this, this isn't this. It's an exclusive game. And some of Sony people are looking at it. I mean, there was an interview that said Sony people were helping with Forspoken. And it still wasn't a great game. It wasn't received well by critics. It wasn't received well by fans, even though there are some people that like it. But
yeah, Brian.
So anyways, Phil comes out and sits down with Kind of Funny Games. Mm-hmm. Does this 30-minute interview, which I give him credit for. He doesn't have to do that.
He looked really uncomfortable in that hot seat a couple times.
He did, but I mean, they asked good questions, and he didn't have to do this in the first place. Mm-hmm. Phil didn't have to come out and talk to anybody. These last two reviews is why I don't get pumped about games. I man, I'm just being honest with you, man. There's games there's reviews where we jerk games off. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and do a show and just be like, "Oh, fucking dope game." I'm not gonna do that. I'm just going to be honest with you. When we talk about games that we do like, we get hyped about it. But he did not have to do this interview. He did not have to do it. But there were a couple of things that Phil said that kind of stood out to me. The first one I thought was interesting because I never thought about it this way. But here's what Phil said. When he was talking, after he talked about Redfall, he got to talking about the fans' reaction to it, and for some reason, he got into this whole discussion about the consoles and not being able to compete with Sony or Nintendo. But here's the quote: "We're not in the business of out-consoling Sony or out-consoling Nintendo. There isn't really a great solution or win for us. I know that will upset a ton of people, but it's the truth of the matter. We lost the worst generation to lose in the Xbox One generation when everyone built their digital library of games." I thought that was really interesting because I never thought about it like that. Xbox hasn't done super well this gen. Sales are kind of waning a little bit.
They didn't do well last gen though either.
They do, but I mean that's the reason why it's really difficult for them to make up ground on Sony and Nintendo.
It starts to make sense why, and that's why he alluded
and when he
to
mentioned
that,
everyone's digital libraries, everyone's buying all their stuff on digital. I mean, people still getting physical stuff. Mm-hmm. But with so many people with a PS4 outselling 2-1 or 3-1 last gen, and everyone buying digital games, and all of a sudden these games carry forward to your PS5, that makes sense. I mean, them catching up in the sales of the PS5 is probably not in the cards, simply because everyone who owns all those games digitally is not going to just be like, okay, I'm done with PlayStation 5, I'm going to Xbox. They're not going to give up all those games.
Well, and keep in mind, too, like I had said, there was a year or so of that pandemic when people were just at home buying digital games.
Yeah.
And when your console, for instance, when the PlayStation 4 had outsold 2-1 against Xbox One, more people just generality are going to be buying those kind of games as well, too. So that's where his point comes from, is that in generation when they were, coming from behind in 2013 because you were trading discs and doing bits, Sony was funding, the funny commercials and, all that stuff that we've talked about numerous times before. But, they never were able to get that ground back like they did during the 360 era when they actually waffle stomped PS3 that era.
Sure.
So it flipped, and when you get into that point, now we're into digital games.
Yep.
You got pandemic, people are buying them more, and that's exactly what I didn't think of either, and that's why you bring that up. And it's a very thoughtful reason, partly to also why they're having such a hard time, and they got to look at things differently.
And again, that was something I thought that was good that he said that, because it kind of sets an expectation. Like, look, we're not gonna just jump Nintendo and Sony. It's just not in the cards. There's too many people that are invested into a specific ecosystem, and that's just not going to be a thing. And I never really ever thought about it like that. I mean, it's like, man, that is true. Like, a lot of people just aren't gonna give up all those titles when everything moves forward now with backwards compatibility,
which is a bigger struggle for them, because they've always, and we've said this too, they want to get rid of hardware and they want you to get involved in Game Pass and digital games. So like, when that's what you're leaning into and you're having a hard time catching up to that and even getting to a point where it makes sense.
But that's where I feel like you need great games.
Exactly.
You need your games to be good. Because if you're going to push Game Pass and you're going to push xCloud and you are going to push Game Pass on PC and all these cloud services, you have to have a reason for people to subscribe. Which is where this next comment is a little, and like, I understand why he's saying it, but at the same time, I feel like he leaves it open for interpretation. Like, the whole thought of like needing great games is important. Here's the next quote. This is interesting. We want our Xbox community to feel awesome, but this idea that if we just focus more on great games on our console, that somehow we're going to win the console race, doesn't really lay into the reality. That's just not the world that we are in today. There's nowhere Starfield is an 11 out of 10 game and people start selling their PS5s. That's not going to happen. End quote. Again, that kind of goes back to what he said prior. A lot of people bought PS5s because they had PS4 digital library. You're right. No one's going to sell their PS5s for Starfield. But if you're not focused on the consoles, the sale of consoles, you need to be focused on the great games, because nobody's going to want fucking Game Pass.
There you go, Brian.
If your games suck.
Right, because like somebody like who has a Sony PlayStation, let's say, and focuses mostly on that, Starfield might have them buy their second console finally.
No.
Maybe so far this generation, people have said, there's enough games there that I like,
Right.
that I want to buy an extra console for. But hey, Starfield's coming out, and I like Bethesda, so maybe I'll buy that second console now.
See, the way he says that, I get what he's saying. Yeah, it's not gonna move. It's not gonna have people selling their PS5s.
Right.
But God damn it, great games are gonna get people to buy Xbox Series X's and S's.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly.
That's such a weird thing to say, because, dude, if Game Pass is your future and your AAA titles are fucking Redfall type of games where it's mid as fuck, where do you want to win? If you can't win the console race, don't you want your fucking subscription service to be actually somewhat decent? Don't you want good games? People are like, fuck, man, I want to play that shit on my phone with xCloud. I want to play it on my tablet. I want to play it on PC. You have to have great games, Phil. Yes, you don't need to move a bunch of consoles. Like you said, I agree with him on that point. But you fucking need great games, dude. You really, to justify the existence of Game Pass, to justify the cost. Because Game Pass price is going to keep going up. Especially when this Activision thing eventually goes through. That shit's going to go up. And you can't have mid-fucking games. So I didn't like that comment, because it's just like, I get it. You're not interested in the console race. That's fine.
You haven't been interested in that in a long time, I feel like.
But fuck, dude. Make great games. Like that doesn't invoke much confidence. They delayed last minute. They sent out this huge this announcement. We're delaying Starfield and Redfall until 2023 to make sure it's polished and a great experience that our Xbox community deserves. A year later, fucking Redfall comes out mid as fuck. What the fuck is Starfield gonna look like? Now, and you and I talked about this before the show. Bethesda games, renowned for bugs. Yes, they make great games. Oblivion and Skyrim and the Fallout games, they're all fucking awesome games, but they are riddled with bugs when they launch. And you delayed this a fucking year, and now you could be rushing this out with a studio that's known for bugs? Oh my God. This game has to be really fucking good. You know that, right, Phil? Starfield has to be really fucking good. It can't be a shit show, Phil. They won't even confirm whether it's 60 frames. Which I don't do it. Just come out and say, if they're telling me they can't confirm it, that means we're not sure if we can get it running right. Just say no. Just say it's not going to have 60 frames, but it's going to have fucking quality and it's going to be visual splendor. A good 30 FPS game can be enjoyed. But if you tell me we're not sure if it's going to be 60, we'll announce that in June when we talk about it, that just screams to me, we're not really sure if this game's going to run right. Not invoking much confidence.
Right.
Especially after Redfall being a shit show. Starfield has to be fucking awesome, Phil. It has to be fucking awesome. It can't be mid. Forza's going to Forza, okay? Forza's going to have its niche audience, and people are going to play the racing games, and I'm confident in Forza because they know what the fuck they're doing with Forza.
Correct.
I'm confident in Hellblade, hopefully. They delayed that, but I mean, it doesn't seem like they're rushing on it. They delayed it. We haven't seen much on it. They haven't said a whole lot about it. I like Ninja Theory. I think they're a great developer.
Yeah.
I'm confident in Hellblade. But, dude, you delayed Redfall a fucking year, and it's a travesty. It's a game that's in rough shape.
Mm-hmm.
It's not nearly as good as anything Arcane has done. Where's Starfield going to be? If Starfield comes out a shit show, Game Pass is in trouble because you have nothing that's giving me much confidence I'm going to get anything good out of this subscription service. Yes, it's a great value, but if the games suck, no, it's not. If the games are unpolished and they're messy and they're shallow and they're undercooked, no, it's not a good value.
Right. Yeah, and I think that we've talked about that before. I know I've voiced my concerns about Game Pass for a long time about how it's a great service, it's a great idea, and we know that Microsoft wants to go to more of the software side of it, not have to make consoles, so not hemorrhaging money, all that sort of stuff. But at the end of the day, like when you look at the library of games on there, yeah, there's AAA titles on them, but most of them aren't new either necessarily. They come on later down the road or past the prime, which is, there's nothing wrong with that. But like, if you want people to invest that $15 a month and you drop these AAA titles and you're using those as a reason to get into it, Redfalls, Halo Infinites, and now Starfield, they do have to come correct, because while there are enough people out there that will probably still keep their subscription because it is a good value, there is enough hardcore folks out there as gamers as well too. They're gonna stop and say, listen, this value that you've been shining or trying to sell us on is not coming fully through as well too. So, I definitely think that Starfield's gonna be a testament. And as somebody who's very critical about Bethesda games, yes, they make big, good games. I also do know very well that they typically release with a lot of issues. And
hey, look, if you're making an ambitious title, I expect there to be. I don't expect a game of Starfield's magnitude ever to launch 100%.
No game does these days. Let's be realistic.
Realistically, but for whatever reason, Bethesda games are notorious for being a little bit more buggy than most.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that's a fair assessment. So it's just like this game has to launch good, and I think Panther is right. If they don't confirm the 60 FPS, on June 11th, it won't be good at all. I mean, I don't know about that, but I mean, I do think June 11th is a very important day for Xbox with their showcase. Not only for the Starfield deep dive afterwards, but they need a really good showing. Dude, Xbox brand, the marketing and everything right now, the buzz around Xbox has been shit the last month.
They need to win, yeah.
They need a nice W. That June 11th showcase needs to be a fucking W.
Jay Hill, you asked how many people have both consoles. I mean, I have all three. That's just kind of how I roll as a gamer. Like, I don't use my Xbox as much as I have maybe this gen or maybe even the Xbox One gen. 360 gen, that's pretty much all I played, truth be told. But I always have all of them because I do like to play the Halos and certain. There are certain titles that
I want to be able to play the games that look really good.
Yeah, so it's always, for me at least, a value to have all the systems. Nintendo was hit or miss after a while. Like, I didn't have a Wii U, and the Wii, I pretty much used that as a fucking football out in the front yard. But there's also a lot of good first party titles under them that I like to play as well too. So. But there's a lot of other good let me see some other comments as well too. Cuddles brought up as well too. 120 million Game Pass subscribers. He agrees that the games need to be better. I mean, when you're paying $15 a month, at some point you've got to get value out of those. And like I said, there is a value for $15 a month to play B-rated games and lower, right? I mean, you can still find value. There's the games of fun. It doesn't have to be like a AAA title to be a fun game. We, love indie games, things of that nature. They can be great games without being these massive 20, 50-hour games as well, too. But again, when you've got a company saying, you get Game Pass, you get Halo Infinite, you get Starfield. You can't be writing checks with your mouth that your ass can't cash.
You can't buy
Right,
Bethesda and deliver undercooked
Right.
game, low quality games. You
Right.
simply can't.
Right. And I think at the end of the day, the whole point, I think the to kind of like reel it all in, I think at the end of the day with this whole thing, and I give Phil Spencer props. I like Phil a lot, actually. There's a part of him where he's got to bend the knee to who he's getting paid to, so I get it. That's his job.
Mhm.
But there was a lot of honesty with this, and I felt a lot of honesty with him too. Now there's some people out there that are saying he's tooting air and shit up everybody's whatever their sales again, but there was some legitimate like body language going on here with this conversation. He was uncomfortable,
There's a lot of people that think also that they played the the whole we're not gonna out console Sony and Nintendo. There's a lot of people who are thinking this was a Microsoft bit to show the CMA and the FTC. Oh, see, I mean we need Activision because we're just never gonna grow.
That's a really weird I mean, at this day and age, who fucking knows? Everything's House of Cards. I don't know, but
Right.
all I'm saying is that at the end of the day, if Phil Spencer can pause and take a break to reflect and be objective and be critical and criticize his own product, then there's no reason why gamers out there can't do the same thing without creating whataboutisms and pointing fingers elsewhere. If you can't take the time to be honest to yourself and reflect on those sort of things and look in the mirror and say, what am I trying to convey? What am I trying to say? Then it comes back to what I always say. If you can't criticize the things that you enjoy and like, because we're all fans, there's things that we're always going to, criticize and like, that's fine. Things can always be better. If you can't do that, then I personally do not care about the things that you don't like.
Mm-hmm. Jay Hill says, I think a lot of people grew up like South Park episode. You picked a team in the PlayStation or Xbox. And growing up, yeah, I mean, when I'm in middle school and high school, I don't have a job. I can't buy all the consoles. And my parents were like, what do you want? I was like, I want a PlayStation. I want to play this. So that's what I played. And at the same time, while I was having fun there, I wasn't really aware of the other stuff I was missing out on other consoles. And so now that I'm an adult, I can sit there and decide, like, look, I grew up a lot on PlayStation because that's what I started off as a kid, because that's all my parents could give me was one system. They couldn't buy them all for me. And so, like, I play on that system. But then I got older and was like, man, this Gears of War game sounds fucking sweet, and I've never played it. So I'm going to buy an Xbox so I can play it.
Right.
And that's why, like, I continue to move forward. And I like to be able to get all the consoles because I do like some of the games on all three platforms.
Same, yeah.
I don't want to miss out on stuff. But, like, yeah, man, I mean, there's always going to be a group of people who will try to justify poor games and certain things like that. And again, they just show their truth. You just already know where they're coming from. They're taking it a little too serious. I just want to be able to play all the games. It's really that simple.
Unless Sony or Microsoft are giving you fucking royalty checks, who the fuck you bending the knee to?
Yeah.
Consumerism? Well, congratulations. I do it by buying all the consoles.
Yeah.
So, like, at the end of the day, like, listen, they all have their issues.
Miss the Dreamcast.
There's always going to be something, but we have to be able to pause and be objective. And as somebody who's a fan of like 90% of the things that exist, Star Wars being a big one, I criticize that fucking constantly. I love it, but I criticize it. I don't really care about the fan. Like, I know there's a lot of fan toxicity out there. We just love, when you love something so much and enjoy something so much, and it can be great and it's not great, it's okay to point that out and say, this can be better. We've seen it better.
Yeah.
And there's a whole other line of thought you can go with that, but at the end of the day, that's the point. Like, you have to be able to be honest and objective to yourself, because then other than that, you're nothing just but a fucking piss poor fanboy, and you look like a dummy, and it's embarrassing.
And see, Brian, that's totally understand. Like, I get that. Like, I with the way my schedule is and the way my life is, like, I can just I don't go to bed early. I stay up late, and sometimes I just want to play one game, or I want to play another, or I want to try this game out on this console, and that's why I have it. But, like, if my life was different, if there was just different circumstances, there's a chance I wouldn't have any platforms. I might not have time to do any of that stuff. So it just really just depends on an individual stuff. But the minute somebody gets into the whole, like,
Okay.
making things up to justify one console or the other, or creating conspiracy theories, then you lose me because I'm just like, okay, I can't play with you.
Nobody's going to argue about where you can get your fun. And like you said, you put 22 hours in this game.
Yeah.
You've had fun playing with Cuddles. You admit that, hey, that's an enjoyable experience. But
I mean, that can be for any game.
But
if Cuddles and I played any co-op game, I'm gonna have fun with Cuddles.
That's not gonna. That can't excuse the.
I'm having fun because of Cuddles, not because the game is good.
Right. You can't excuse the fact of the reality that there's issues with the game, and you got to be able to talk about those as well too. If you, like I said, it's got to be a balance. You can't just do one or the other because then, like I said, you look like a jackass. So
it's a valid point. But no, look, June 11th. That's a big showcase for Xbox. They need a big win there. They have to have a lot of great games. They need to start putting some dates on stuff like Hellblade.
Right.
We got to see more of Fable. I want to see more of Avowed. These are games that they announced a year ago, and we need to start seeing these titles in action. We got to start seeing some dates and things like that. But right now, Starfield almost has like an unfair amount of pressure on it, but they need to deliver a game that matches the hype.
Yeah,
really
we are getting into what 2-3 years of this cycle now. It came out 2020, so yeah, we're up to we're getting near 3 years.
We're almost at that mid-cycle refresh.
That's usually when the stuff really starts hitting the fucking.
They start leaving the other systems behind, and they start focusing on the new system. So
this is when it's supposed to be the exciting time, the true exciting time, the true testament what these systems can do.
But again, kudos to Phil Spencer. I'm glad he sat down, but I didn't like the whole. Great games isn't going to sell systems. No, but it's going to sell everything else. It's going to sell your Game Pass. You need great games, Phil. You really need great games. All right, let's move on. We got some trailers. We got 3 trailers, Tone.
3 fucking trailers.
3 dope-ass trailers, mind you.
Yeah, let's go.
So let's check out the first trailer for Dune 2.
It's breathtaking. When you see sand here, imagine water. If you dive in, you can't reach the bottom.
You dive in.
Yes, it's called swimming.
I don't believe you. In the shadows of Arrakis lie many secrets. But the darkest of them all may remain. The end of House Atreides.
Your father didn't believe in revenge.
What if Paul Atreides were still alive? Have you ever had a dream about your first ride?
Don't try to impress anyone. You're brave, we all know that. Be simple. Be direct. Nothing fancy.
I understand. Nothing fancy.
You will never lose me, Paul Atreides.
We gave them something to hope for.
That's not hope!
May thy knife chip and shatter.
Bruh.
Yeah.
That looks fucking dope. I mean, you and I really enjoyed the first one.
Yeah.
And they're building up on it. They're going to add, I mean, it's just a great cast. Florence Pugh, I'm there. I mean, that's all it really is. I mean, Christopher Walken's the bad guy. Florence Pugh's in it. You had me a hello.
Florence Pugh could just be there eating an empty can of fucking tuna fish. I don't even care. I'd watch it.
Is that Ash? I don't know what that is. Looks like a great couch nap. It's going to put Cuddles to sleep. I'm going to have to rewatch part 1 before seeing this. I already forgot. Those bad guys look like the zombies from I Am Legend. Yeah, I can see the comparisons.
That's pretty funny, actually.
No, I really enjoyed the first one. I think this looks fucking
Boba
awesome.
Fett,
Obviously,
yeah.
it's got a stellar
Yeah,
cast,
Yeah.
and it's going to tell a great story. So, I mean, this dope-ass trailer. He's riding a sandworm now. I mean, awesome. Yeah, I really dig it, man. And there's not a whole lot to glean from that trailer, so I like that. It doesn't just a lot of big spectacle, but not a lot of story.
Allude to story, yeah.
Yep. So really well done trailer. I'm excited for this. This drops on November 3rd. I believe there is going to be 3 of these movies. I think that's
Alright.
it's a planned trilogy.
You're a
I thought I
trilogy.
remember hearing that this part, even though this is part 2, I always thought it was going to be a 2-part part 2. If that makes any sense.
Don't make me math.
Does this story lead to Beetlejuice?
Fucking
It leads
hope
to Beetlejuice
so.
too. What's that?
Fucking hope so, because that tell you what.
We do know that Beetlejuice 2 is
Next
dropping sometime next year. They start production. I think it was today.
I saw even Alec Baldwin's listed as no.
Is he really in
That's
it?
what I saw.
Really?
Yeah. I
'Cause
don't know.
obviously, we know Winona.
I don't know if it's legit. Anything that's come out so far for that movie, I don't know if it's legit or not. Like I did see something on Variety about it, but
Really?
we'll see.
Well, we do know that Winona Ryder's back in it as Lydia, and Jenna Ortega
probably her daughter, right?
is
or
going to
something?
play Lydia's
Fucking
daughter,
Brilliant.
and then obviously Michael Keaton back as Beetlegeist.
Keep it in the universe. Just move the story along
Move
the
it,
timeline.
move it along
Yep,
nicely.
I'm down.
I'm excited for that shit, dude. I mean, it was just
Michael Keaton back as Beetlejuice.
well, one more goes
What
Beetlejuice.
a time to be alive.
Yeah, it's gonna be done. I think Tim Burton is directing it. I think I remember. Yes.
If he's
yes.
not,
Yo, he
fucking
is.
rage.
He is. I don't even know why.
I don't even. I
I'm
bet
making
you
that up.
Keaton wouldn't probably even do it if
I
it
don't
wasn't.
think any of them would.
Right.
I don't think anybody would. In fact, I don't think anyone would even sign up for it unless it was Tim Burton.
Right.
I think that's a fair assessment. All right, this next
Oh,
trailer.
tricky.
There's straight.
He wasn't
what?
even here.
Huh?
He was gone. Yeah,
Huh?
he just heard it
Yeah,
somewhere.
he was sitting at home and his nose tingled. He's like, "Huh? Who? Jenna? Huh?
Jenna?
Did you say Jenna? Yeah, Jenna Ortega is in Beetlejuice too, man. She's gonna play Lydia Dietz's daughter. Pretty
Yeah.
fucking dope. All right, this next trailer. Not sure anyone was asking for a sequel, but we're getting one.
Jonas, we need your help. We're detecting increased aquatic activity 25,000 feet deep in the trench. It's an ancient ecosystem untouched by man. Whatever is down there is trying to make its way to the surface.
This was a bad idea.
Just a little bit.
Jonas, we've got company.
That's the biggest Meg I've ever seen.
Biggest Meg anyone's ever seen.
That's the apex predator.
Everybody make it to the station! You can make it! Keep going!
3 massive Megs and who knows what else have escaped the breach.
I just hope it goes better than last time.
What happened last time? You don't want to know. Go! We've never seen this before. They hunted in packs.
We can relax. This place, Meg-proof. I mean, Jonas was always afraid of this, but I was also thinking...
Yeah, I do agree with that, Brian. I felt like that was a really cool scene, but they should have saved that bit for the. Hey, you know what? The first one is what it is. If you do or don't, I mean, they're not. They're not going for an Oscar or anything like this. So I mean,
I know this is just like. Oh, dude, is he serious about robot voice?
what?
No. Motherfucker.
That's when we came out of that, though.
Damn it,
Do
dude.
you remember the settings?
I do. God, dude, we almost made it through a whole show. We talked about it.
Yeah, I have taken over. It's right.
All right, hang on. Damn it.
Donger. You don't remember already what it was.
No, it's already sorry. I just gotta go to troubleshooting.
I'm getting there, Jay. Trust me. I mean, no. At the end of the day, you know what? It looks fun. It is what it is. You know, I don't know if I'd pay to see this necessarily. I might wait for a release. You know what I'm saying? A release. You know what I'm saying out there? You know what I mean? Like a little pee. Little pee.
Yeah, sure. This.
Yeah, the fucking video game. What was that shit called?
Maneater.
Maneater. That was so fucking awesome. I had such a blast playing that game. Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. Definitely. Anytime I see a T-Rex. I'm like, oh, T-Rex is drinking some water and catching something on the shore. And the fucking magnets come out.
Just out of nowhere.
Like, all right. And the tentacles, it's got to be a kraken or something, or a massive squid. I'm not here for that, you know?
How's the audio, guys? Is it still shitty? Is it still robot voice? I did the thing, but I don't know if it's working. Shitty still? Okay, hang on.
It runs a different audio source?
No, it's all the same.
Say that.
All right, how's it sound now? Is it still robot-y? Oh, it's deep. Are you fucking kidding me? Hold on, guys.
Suck on my chocolate
deep.
salty balls.
Oh my gosh.
Stick 'em in the mouth and suck 'em.
Wait, no, I need to know, is it deep, or, because I got people saying it sounds good, or do we sound like we're deep, like it's a rah, rah, rah? Okay, it's deep, all right.
Crash, you mother.
He's a rat bastard.
I would like to talk about briefly while he's doing this, and goofy if I sound like that or not. But last week's comic book day, free comic book day, was pretty awesome. Hit up Koi's Comics, bought a figure I've been eyeballing for a long ass time there. They were busy, saw Crash, saw the crew. It was a good time. Hopefully, y'all got a chance to go out to your local comic book store and supported them. It was a busy thing going on there.
All right, it's gonna kill your mic for a second. Hang on. All right, how's it sound now? Still deep or what? Still deep, kind of deep.
Deep in me.
Sounding hot.
Yeah.
Deep still, for fuck's sake.
Will
Hang on.
Ferrell-ish. Oh.
So fucking, you're crazy. I love you, but you're crazy.
Yeah,
man.
yeah. I got the reference trick, and that was pretty funny.
How about now? How about now?
Crazy man.
Please say it sounds somewhat deep. Oh my fucking god, dude. All right, hang on. So disappointing. Man, I don't understand what triggers that. I thought I had it figured out. Didn't have shit figured out. It figured me out. It knew it was up. It knew I was up to no good.
Oh, yeah. I want to lay you down by the fire.
Sound.
I want to make love to you, Tricky.
Jeez. Hang on, y'all.
I got to go out and check out Tricky and his kids doing the soccer thing last Saturday, too. That was pretty dope. Got to see him in his element, raging.
Yeah, he got carded, too.
He got carded. It was gnarly. I mean, listen, I've watched.
I really have no idea why it's doing this. How's it sound now? Still deep and annoying? Still deep? Oh, for fuck's sake, man. I don't even know. I don't even know. I have no idea. All right, hang on. I'm gonna try one more thing. Multi-channel. How about now? Is it better yet? 'Cause I'm about ready to give up. If it still says deeper, I'm gonna do the show less deep. Tone, try talking.
Hello, hello, hello.
Well, say something more than that.
Say something more than that.
Still deep. Still messy.
Still messy.
Robot voice. It's deep. Man, I have no idea, you guys. This is so frustrating. It's so frustrating. Let me try this. I'm going to try two more things. How's this sound? How's this sound? Better? Shitty? Robot? Do I sound like
Gee, he'll tell me my business.
John Malkovich? It's like put the pitch slider. Yeah, I don't even know how to fix that, man. I have no idea why it's doing it.
No, I think that's something you do at like a park bathroom.
All right, Tone, take a pee break. Go pee. I'm just gonna break everything, and then when we come back, we'll just say technical issues. We got one more trailer we're gonna watch. Let's watch the trailer. I don't give a fuck how I sound. Let's watch this next trailer, and then we'll take a pee break to see if Daddy can fix it. This next trailer, I'm actually really excited for this. Really excited for it.
Same.
Magic is all around us, but you'll never see it if you don't go out and look. That is a Mogwai. Mogwai are the rarest mystical creatures. No mortal has seen one for centuries.
Do you have a first name? Gizmo? Gizmo? Hi, Gizmo. I'm Sam.
This species is wildly dangerous. Never get them wet. No bright light. And never feed them after midnight. Our only concern should be the Mogwai falling into the wrong hands.
Who's that?
The wrong hands. Where is my Mogwai? These creatures may prove useful in my endeavors. First, Shanghai. Then, the world.
If we don't save Gizmo, who will? Come get us!
We need to return Gizmo to his home to save humanity.
You'll never catch Sam.
We are dealing with creatures who want chaos. I simply need to channel their destructive energy.
We're the only ones who know how to do this. If we don't end it here, the world becomes a ghost city.
How many monsters did you slay today, huh?
Same as always. 0.
All right. I'm legit excited for this. Not only because it's more Gremlins, and it's probably still deep, boys. And I apologize. I'm gonna take a look at it when we do a pee break. But the thing that I like about this dude is, first of all, the first episode is directed by Joe Dante, the guy who directed the first he did the 2 Gremlin movies, and he's responsible for some of the best movies of the 80s, The Burbs. He did Toy Soldiers, which I thought was really good. I mean, Inner Space with Dennis Quaid and Martin Short. He's made some fucking awesome movies. So you have the original director involved. We don't have Howie Mandel as Gizmo. He's not doing the voice of Gizmo. They got AJ Locascio to do it.
That's true.
But we also know Zach Galligan, who played Billy in the 2 movies.
tied to this.
He's in this as well. So I'm assuming he's going to reprise his role as Billy in some form.
So,
But you've got a lot of the original people involved back in this movie. Plus, you've got B.D. Wong, you got James Hong. You got a lot of great. Yeah, I mean, you have a sweet cast. Sandra Oh. I mean, this is a stellar voice cast. So I think this. Yeah, I know. I'm gonna take care of it here in a second. Thanks, J.O. But no, I think this looks rad. I love the animation. But you made a good point during the trailer. It was like, does this mean the third movie's off the table? Because I know there was some rumors that they were going to try to do a third movie or maybe a reboot or something like that. But that's disappointing if that's the case. But I think this looks really good.
Yeah, I'm excited.
10 episodes. It begins on May 23rd on HBO Max, soon to be just Max. Or did that take effect already, or is that like the next week or two?
Why would you take a name like HBO that's had prestigious association for 30 fucking years and think that's a good marketing? It's like McDonald's changing their name to fucking Donald's. It's fucking stupid.
Can't take the Mick out of it.
It's fucking stupid. Home box office.
Yeah.
You've had some fucking Sopranos on there.
Yeah.
You've had Game of Thrones. You have all these big blockbuster things, and you decide you're going to drop the HBO part of it.
Yeah.
That's going to fucking cost them, I guarantee it, because name association is a big thing in this shit. It's fucking dumb.
That's really stupid. All right, you guys, we're going to take a quick break. I'm going to see if I can fix this. If not, you're going to have to listen to the deep Barry White voice for the rest of the show.
I want to make love to you, tricky.
You don't have to make the voice. It already does it for you.
Well, it gets deeper then.
All right, you guys, we'll be right back. All right, I have no idea how to fix this. Okay. Is it still fucking deep voice? Still deep voice? Please somebody say yes so I can break everything on camera. Yeah, all right. Crying emoji from Blanco. That means it's bad. What? We're good? We're good?
What'd you do?
Dude, I don't even know, man. I just hit a bunch of buttons.
Cool.
Okay. Well, we're going to hurry the fuck up before this falls out again. Thank you guys and girls for appreciate your patience. Tone, we got
Yeah.
a couple movie reviews.
Yes.
First, we got to talk about Sisu.
Holy shit.
We went and saw Sisu, and it did not disappoint, dude.
No.
I want to get your. I'm going to fix this. Go ahead. What were your thoughts on Sisu?
You know, going into it, we know it was going to be brutal. We didn't know if it was going to be like a Taken or a Nobody, an Equalizer. Because from the trailers, it looks like it's fairly serious and, you know, kind of straightforward in that sense. But what it did was it does that for sure. There's great violence, there's great action. And honestly, the story really is more just about you don't need a lot of story with this. You didn't need it. Like, you got enough background, you know about the character, what's going on, and what drives him. Even then, do we really know what drove him? But what it ended up doing was kind of leading into this over the top, ridiculous, like,
Cuddles, you don't remember us watching this? You don't remember us watching this? This is the trailer about the old guy who's like a old Finnish commander, and he kills a bunch of Nazis.
Yeah.
It's like a grindhouse version. It's like Mad Max meets
best
like,
way. It's gratuitous action and like less serious and a little bit of fantasy on some of the like ridiculous situations that continue to happen. Like they joke about him being an immortal, at one point even as well too. And like it's because he's got this high amount of willpower, his will to survive or whatever is unmatchable. And it was laughable at times in the right kind of way, because you were just like, that was fucking sweet. Like, it was a fun fucking film. It like I said, the story was minimal, because that's all you needed out of this. You didn't need anything more.
And very straightforward.
Yeah, and the grindhouse thing is the best way to look at that, because if you go in with that mindset, no, you're not looking for more than that. You're fighting Nazis being Nazis, just pieces of shit. And you got this dude just trying to salvage what's left of his fucking life.
Yes.
And trying to move forward and try to, just like anybody else, trying to find a piece of something to hang on to and to, money or whatever. He's digging for gold or what, what I mean? Just some success.
He's a prospector.
He's trying to get out of his shitty fucking situation.
Yeah, he's trying to get
nothing
out.
else.
He's lost his family. He's just this old Finnish commander who is like this history of like just wiping out like 300 Russian soldiers.
Yeah, he's
like
basically like the Rambo.
He's got like this urban legend around him, and
Right.
basically he's a prospector. He's gathering all this gold, and as he's trying to escape this area, he runs into like this small garrison of like Nazi soldiers. This is like towards the end of World War II, and like they try to kill him, and he just fucking kills people in gory fashion. Like, it is
insane.
ultra violent. Like it's 90 minutes of like blood-soaked grindhouse action. And if you like the movie Overlord from 2018, or just think of it as, again, Mad Max meets like Inglourious Bastards.
Yeah.
It is a fucking dope-ass movie. And like, yeah, towards the end, there's a lot of stuff that happens where you're kind of like, what?
Yeah, explain that.
But I thought about this, and it kind of ties back, because during the movie, there's the one girl where she's like,
I know.
there's this urban legend about this guy who has done all these things. And I feel like that kind of ties into what they're doing with the storytelling.
Yeah.
Like, when you hear about these urban legends, it's about people who are overcoming like just incredible odds.
Yeah.
Doing things that are just inhuman. You're like, oh, there's no way they happen.
Right.
And so that's kind of like what happens towards the end of this movie. You're just like, man, this is just like an urban legend. This guy who just survives all these crazy situations. But dude, it is such a fucking awesome, gritty movie.
It's fun as fuck.
It only cost $6 million to make, and I mean, again, it's small skirmishes. It's not like the huge wars that you see in like other World War movies
Right.
and things of that nature. But dude, it is just a fucking dope ass movie. Really good. Really entertaining. It'll be out on digital on May 23rd. It was a limited release. We had to go to Birch Run to see it.
Some theaters weren't showing it. Like, do we know how much it's made so far?
I think it's made about $10 million. I think
it's made its
getting
money
close
back.
It's got most of it, and I know the marketing, they probably didn't have to do a whole lot of it, but dude, a lot of people thought that trailer was like one of the best trailers they've ever seen in a long time, because it was just so fucking dope.
It's gonna probably do.
This
really
is
well
going to
digitally.
have a huge cult following. Again, it's very similar to something like Overlord, where they kind of just take that World War II setting and they do something a little bit different with it. But I mean, like I said, for a small budget film, it is competently made.
Mm-hmm.
The performances are really good, even though this guy is like basically a silent protagonist. I don't think he says anything till the end of the movie.
He doesn't.
And like the Nazi guys are despicable. You're just like, these guys are like fucking Nazis, and it makes it much more enjoyable the way he dispatches them and like just, again, super gory fashion.
Mhm,
Yeah, I thought it was entertaining as fuck, man. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Sisu has grossed 5.9 in the United States and 3.2 in other territories for, well, yeah. I mean, $9 million off a $6 million budget for limited release, and this thing's going to hit digital. This
That's
is going to have a
fucking
cult
wild.
following on digital.
This is definitely something that I thumbs up a buy, and I think the best way to watch this movie is have some guys and gals
Yes.
over,
Have
get
some
a group,
drinks,
have some drinks,
get
maybe
some
an edible,
pizza.
hang out,
Yeah.
and just like have a good time with it because you'll be like, oh, that was fucking wild.
Dude,
like,
it
whatever,
is
so.
a very good movie. Like, criminally underrated. I wish it could have had like a bigger release, a bigger,
Mm-hmm.
a wider reach at the theaters. But when this thing comes out on digital, I highly recommend it. That is also the best way to do a swinger party. I mean, hey,
Put the keys in a bowl.
swinger party, Sisu viewing. I think you could swing both of those.
There you go, Trick.
And you'd be okay with that. So, no, it's an awesome movie. I think you guys and girls will love it. Make sure you check it out. So this dude, yes, this is John Wick's grandpappy. That's a great way to. I mean, dude. There's John Wick vibes in this movie. Like I said, he's fucking awesome. This guy is a badass. The director is the same guy that made Rare Exports, and we've talked about that before. A really underrated like horror Christmas movie. He's actually the dad in that movie, so I mean he's back in it. This is Jenna in it. Knock it off. Jeez, what an animal. Dude, Blanco. This is the same group of people, and it's awesome, dude. One of the Nazis is driving the tank is actually the guy who played his son in Rare Exports. The little kid in Rare Exports is one of the tank drivers in this movie.
Oh,
so
full fucking circle.
yeah, man. I mean, everybody's in this, and like I said, it's just a really good flick.
Wow.
I think if you're into those grindhouse movies, Tarantino movies,
Yeah.
things of that nature, you're really gonna enjoy this. Check it out. It comes out on digital on May 23rd. I think
23rd
you guys
of May.
will love it.
You'll love it.
All right, Tone. On to the final movie review.
Spoiler free.
Spoiler free. We're
at
saving
least.
that for either like sitting down with Koi's or maybe get Rohit on. But Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. We went and saw it this past weekend. I went and saw it with my oldest, and enjoyable film. I thought it was a nice way to close out this story for these characters. That's all good, Jay Hill, man. Have a good night, dude.
Yeah, go fuck yourself. Just kidding. Love you.
But no, it was a nice send off for these characters, and I thought it was James Gunn at his best.
Always.
It's got a great story. The rocket stuff is incredible.
It's the best part about it.
It's really really good, dude. I really like this movie. I do agree with some of the things that you're gonna say, but I want to get your thoughts on it.
Really, yeah, it's an enjoyable film. I feel like we've talked a lot about the MCU in the last phase and since Endgame, and everybody's all up in arms because they don't know the direction or where we're going, or is it too much cosmic, which is, I just think that we've always been heading that direction anyways. Guardians was really one of the first ones to kind of dive into the cosmic, and I think the big piece about Guardians that made them so good is, one, surprisingly, they weren't well known. Rocket Raccoon only showed up in like the original comics like 6 times, I think. He was more of a side character.
Oh, really?
And, this, out of all of them, and maybe it's because they built the family. These movies have always been about family.
Yep.
Day one been about family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's all about family.
It's all about family.
That's what Dom says.
I wish he would show up in this. That's a good question, Blanco. I don't know. The MCU kind of needed this, I think, to a degree, because ever since Endgame, yes, it's been a lot of new characters and a lot of stuff, and I think part of the problem, people, continue to say, well, there's no direction, there's no this. Part of that also is because they're not getting nostalgia, they're not getting any characters they recognize. It's all new territory, so it's making people a little bit antsy in some ways as well, too, I think, and heart is the best word to describe the Guardians movies, all 3 of them. Yep. They have, compared to all of the other MCU movies, and most of them at the very least, outside of maybe Miss Marvel at this point, these movies have a lot of fucking heart.
Yeah, you care about everybody.
You care about every single character, whether their background story is long, big, huge, fleshed out, comes full circle in this movie. You care about where everybody's gone, where they're going to. Everything matters, and everything feels like, because of that love, because of that familyness, because of that camaraderie, you actually initially feel concerned about the well-being of these characters as well too. And this movie does a fantastic job of doing that. You know, we needed more of this again, I think, to kind of align people back in with some more familiarity with the MCU, because again, the last 2 years have not been overly kind in some ways for all the fans, I should say. I mean, yes, we've got some Ant-Man, Doctor Strange, but as great as those characters are, you know, and those movies that they had were such like big movies to help move the MCU along, so it's almost like you're getting less of the care for the character and more of like they've got a lot of weight on their shoulders, whereas this kind of dials it back and makes it more small scale, this little pocket of the universe to these characters that you love, know, and have you know, want to know where they're going at the end as well too. Now the Rocket story we know has been coming for a long time. You know, they've alluded to it and stuff like that. It was done very, very well. Honestly, like, some folks are going to struggle probably watching with this.
Oh, yeah.
You know, if you, depending on how big you wear your heart on your sleeve or your heartstrings are, it could honestly be a tough watch for some people, and I respect that. But you know, it kind of needs to happen. It pushes the character along as well too. There's a lot going on. It's a lot of emotions, guys. This movie is a lot of emotions back and forth, and that's what Having Heart is about. You go from laughs, you go to cries, all kinds of feel-good stuff. But, you know, at the end of the day, I think the MCU did need this. Now, that being said, the High Evolutionary, the main protagonist in this film, was the guy that played him also was in Peacemaker. He played the leader of Peacemakers too. I thought he did a great job acting in this. You know, he himself was great. I felt like he was restricted to some of the dialogue and some of the stuff. He was yelling a lot.
He yelled the whole movie.
Yelled the whole movie, and like he had this. He was almost close to like this really like great villainous, like perfect, but like because some of that sort of stuff, like it kind of like made the other things that he did that was very, very evil seem just kind of like less to that, because I was having a hard time taking him serious. It was taking me out of the character. Like if he'd have been more like a little bit more Jonathan Majors, just like stopping, like imposing in some points, I think that would have had more like you know, I guess scaredness or your worry for where the characters were going to go. The other thing as well too, the big thing for me is that Adam Warlock was a waste in this movie completely. We've been building him up since the second movie. He could have been completely not in this movie, and I saw an article today actually before coming over here. Why was he in this movie? That's a great question. You know, to introduce him, sure, like, but he wasn't needed to. He could have been introduced somewhere else. I like how they threaded in the High Evolutionary with Adam and, you know, the sovereignty and all that stuff. That was good, but like he was literally just a big dumb idiot half the time.
Yeah,
and
it was really
even the moment where it kind of turned the page for him could have been done by literally anybody else, and it had made more sense because of the family side of it. You know, it could have been Dom Toretto, would have been even better, honestly. But Adam Warlock was a complete waste in this movie. And it's a fucking crime because he's an awesome character, and I'm not like an Adam Warlock super fan. He's just been a huge character in a lot of Marvel things for 30, 40 years or whatever. And there are people out there that are super fans of this character. And they're going to be disappointed by this. And I know I'm not the only one. I've talked to, you know, a few folks from Koi's as well, too, that kind of agree on some of these sort of things. Like, listen, at the end of the day, it's a great movie. It's a fun movie. It's very enjoyable. Outside of the Adam Warlock thing being just a complete travesty and a waste of time, and the High Evolutionary, the only thing I have to say about this movie, and I can't place my finger on it, I need to see it again. I don't know what it is. I literally, I think I'm the only person on this. There is something missing from this movie, and I can't figure out what it is. I literally can't figure it out what it is. Something seems mildly off. Now, I don't know if it's two things. One, has it been so long since these characters have been together that it's different now? Two, a lot of the reviews are people. The question I have is people really loving this movie because it is, yes, still a great film. Are we riding high on the fact that we're eating so much nostalgia because it is characters we recognize, and this phase hasn't been what everybody has expected it to be, I guess?
Sure.
So are we eating more out of the hands of the nostalgia side of it and then stopping and saying, hey, there's some pretty big issues still with this movie. Like, yeah, it's not 2 and 2. This is definitely better than 2 in some ways, but I didn't hate 2 like a lot of people did. I felt 2 was good for a middle of the trilogy. Like, it didn't need to move their story along. It just needed to keep it going forward, I felt. Whereas this does a good job of kind of coming full circle, but just something is still missing. And I worry that part of the reason is because these are characters we recognize and haven't seen in a while, and people are more, you're going to have people more excited about seeing this than clearly like Shang-Chi because, well, it's a new character and they don't know, don't care. So, but that all being said, again, I digress. It's a great movie. I mean, it's the Guardians. You know what you're getting. It's definitely a lot more distress than you're used to some of these movies, but there were some great jokes. There were some great character movies. There always is in these, but it just felt a little off somewhere. And and maybe it's just me. It might be just me. I don't know. But I feel like I need to watch again. And I don't know if that's because James Gunn has, been involved in other things or certain things as well too, but something just felt like it was missing. And the nice thing I will say about this, last thing I'll say is that the Guardians movies have never tried to move the MCU along, except for like the first one with the Power Stone, I think, a little bit. Other than that, they've been pretty self-contained, and I think that's what make these so awesome. And of course, they were in Thor: Love and Thunder as well too, which was kind of cool. But they weren't enough in that. I felt like that could have used them a little bit more. But they don't move it. So if you're looking to come into this and hoping to have all these things to get the next phase going forward, like you've been wanted, you aren't going to get that. If you've been complaining about that, not going to happen here. But it is a great movie. Go see it. If you love the Guardians, you're still going to enjoy it more than likely as well, too.
No, I think you pretty much nailed everything. I agree with you on a lot of your points. And, yeah, there were some moments where, and I think Crash makes a good point, that thing was off to me was a couple of needle drops were kind of abrupt. Yeah, some things ended quickly. Some things, it did feel like there were moments where I was just like, are they just going through the motions, or is there just not enough context here? Just some of it did feel, I agree with you. I don't want to say, I don't know what it was, but it didn't have the same, like, well, I'm trying to figure out how to word this, but the sense of urgency was kind of different in certain scenes. Like, I was kind of hoping there'd be a little bit more to it, but again, it was made up for the rocket stuff. It was made up for with a lot of the camaraderie between the group.
Right.
But yeah, there was some like moments where it was just kind of like, this feels like it's just kind of like just going through the motions, wrap things up a little bit, anticlimactic endings, and like story arcs coming to a close. You're just kind of like, oh, okay, that's
like this is gonna probably sound a little weird, but I almost feel like Gamora being in it was not good. Like, our Gamora was dead, and I get why she's here, and I get why she's in it, but like it's almost like
she showed up. Yeah, Endgame. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, because the entire time it's been there was so much animosity with that character. Like, it just almost didn't fit. Like, she almost didn't fit at this point because she's not the same character.
You didn't have the whole family thing. You didn't have the whole family
So I don't know if that's what it was, but there was something that was off in it, and it's a great movie, but something just didn't feel right to me. I don't know.
We'll have to watch it again.
Yeah, like I mean, there's worse movies in the MCU than this.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Thor: Love and Thunder. I'll look at you all day, but no, this was still fun. It's still the Guardians. It's a good send off at the end of the day for all the characters.
Yep.
Everything is tied off. And we're moving forward again, and that's that. So.
Dig it. No, check it out. Let us know what your thoughts are. If you've seen Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, let us know what you think of the send off. Was this a proper, fitting way to end the whole trilogy, to end it for these characters? And and if you thought something was off, let us know what you thought. Sound off in the comments if you're watching on YouTube.
Help me figure that out. Unless I'm
help
crazy.
This guy figure out why he fucking hates this movie.
Maybe I'm crazy. When does it hit Disney Plus? That's a great question. Probably
like 90 days for these types of movies.
We still haven't got Quantumania though either, have we?
Quantumania's on there.
Did it just drop?
I think it dropped.
Recently, maybe
a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, I don't fucking know.
I think it's like 45 days for Disney Plus.
I haven't even watched Visions yet, so I don't know. I'm behind everything.
That'll be something we'll talk about next week. We'll talk about Visions.
Okay, I'll watch it.
14-minute episodes, man. You can get those in at some point.
Yeah.
Those are short episodes, man. But that's gonna do it for tonight's show. Tone. Usual
yes,
housekeeping.
As always, thank you guys for showing up tonight. I know it's a busy night, big night. We've actually got a lot of friends that are in Detroit right now at the Little Caesars Arena. There is a live event right now going for AEW Dynamite, so hopefully everybody's having a blast down there as well too. Some of our usuals were down there as well, so I got offered a ticket a couple times for that, but I'm just like, I'm trying to save for a house, so I can't really do that right now. But continue to please do what you do, which is share, like, subscribe, follow, all those great things. If you're in any of the audio versions or anywhere, you can leave a comment, even if it's on YouTube. Give us a comment, give us a like. If you enjoy it, have something to say about it. And always, please do the best that you can do for us, which is at word of mouth. Just share us with somebody that you know that might like this content. That is super huge for us and really appreciate it. But you guys being here all the time that you are for us when you can, or even if it's down the road after and not live, we really appreciate you guys. You guys make it worth doing this, and it's super fun.
This guy just knows how to close out a show. That's going to do it for tonight. I won't be streaming on Friday night. I mean, I might. It just depends. I might be doing movie night. We'll see what happens. But if we do stream on Friday night, it might be some Call of Duty. Might jump into that. Not really sure yet, but I will keep you posted on our socials. I will be streaming on Monday night, finally, with Jay Hill, some golf. I haven't been able to stream it, but we will be streaming that on Monday night. And then, oh man, Zelda. Shit. I mean, we got Legend of Zelda.
Do you?
Tears of the Kingdom dropping
You
on,
buying that too?
on Friday. I am
Pay
playing
it for
that.
10 hours, not played again? Cool.
Hey, man, this one looks like it's way more involved than the last one. So I might
Does look
actually
like
give
it's
this one
busier.
A lot of stuff.
15 hours.
So I'll give it 20.
Okay, that's
If I can give Redfall 22 hours, I can give Zelda 20.
That's true. That's true.
So yeah, next week we'll have plenty to talk about. Make sure you follow us on socials, Discord. We'll let you know what the topics will be. I don't know if there's any movies coming out this weekend.
We might. Next week's show may get moved around. It might not be. We don't know. We'll keep everybody posted. It could get moved to Friday
with a guest.
We'll see.
Man, it could be a good show if we can get it to
If we can get that to happen. If not, it'll be a Wednesday as normal. But yeah.
But that's going to do it for tonight. For Fanboytone, I'm the Dude79. Thank you so much for watching. Hope everyone has a great weekend. Happy Mother's Day to all you mommies out there. And we'll see you next Wednesday right here, 9 p.m. Eastern. Good night, everybody.